sent her up there for a Playmate shoot. To the point where they asked her the questions you see in the fold-out, favorite foods, all this stuff.
Do they still do that?
I haven't seen a Playboy in 70 years.
Oh.
And Gary took her to dinner, and she never got in the magazine, but she did get a shoot. I never saw the pictures. People think that I saw them.
No one thinks
that
about
Gary,
that at all. No one gives
there
it
were
the
people.
first
There were
thought.
people after that. When we told the story in the air, they're saying, "Come on, Iggy, you know you've seen those pictures. You know Gary sent them to you." Gary wouldn't do that. He's not going to send me.
Not Gary. He's a man of integrity.
Here's the pictures of her. He's not going to do that. So I never saw her.
Gary have a casting couch?
No, Gary was very professional. Gary's a good dude.
Guys, I ever tell you about the time me and Gary Cole were shagging golf balls at Westboro with the Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders? It was a great time. What, yeah, follow-up questions? Yeah, I don't remember much. It was a long time ago. Thanks. Yeah. That's from Arbor Day.
I'm surprised you didn't say, you and Gary Cole full bucket aces.
Hey, Beetlejuice, pipe down and let the professionals talk. Thanks. Tim, you remember the swing set from Molly girl next door?
Uh-oh.
I'm happy to report that little Molly is all grown up now and was little Beer Cats and I's waitress at Hooters this past weekend. Thanks, that's from Beer Cats.
Yeah, well, don't cast aspersion on Molly. We did get a swing set for her.
Yeah. We sure did.
Somebody stole it. I don't know how
It was an alarming story in which one of the girls next door came in and said that their swing set was lifted right out of their backyard and removed, and now she needed to get a swing set for her daughter, Molly.
Right.
That's a four-man job there.
That's a crackhead.
Oh, you know what? When we moved once, when our kids were little, we had a swing set, and we had these, I forget what company we used, 2 men in the truck, one of those, and we had these Hoosier men come on. and one of them couldn't have been more than 5'10", 140 pounds. And by himself, he picked up this big, giant metal swing set, put it over his shoulders, and walked it to the truck. By himself, he did that.
Maybe
I was just stunned. I said, "Can I help you with that?" "No, don't need it."
Yeah, sure, going to help the movers that you're paying to do?
Well, yeah, if they need help, I'll help, sure. You can't just sit there and watch someone struggle with an entire
Sure you can. If
swing
you're
set.
paying them, you don't have to do anything.
I don't have to, but it just seemed like the nice thing to do. He didn't need help.
We probably just got done banging a Minnesota Vikings cheerleader.
Yeah.
Kind of peacocking
Look
around.
at you jumping in.
Pepper and Genie warfare. This could be huge for Mr. Licks.
For more than 7 years, the Totem
Tournament has been a rite of spring. The azaleas and dogwoods waking the golfing world from its winter slumber.
So, the Totem's back May 18th and 19th at Normandy Golf Club. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Get your foursome together. That's still funny. And join Tim, Iggy, Doug, Jackson, and Plowsy for a day out on the course. Hey, so Friday's sold out now. Few teams remain for Thursday. Get them while you can, with a portion of the proceeds benefiting Birdies for Bipolar. Your ticket gets you in on all the debauchery, including your Mick Ultra beer, breakfast from Donut Drive-In, lunch from Rockstar Tacos, and a kick-ass after party with smash burgers from Rockstar Tacos. The return of the 7th annual TMA Totem Golf Tournament, brought to you by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota. Better than ever for you, their customer, and Family Golf and Learning Center. Learn, practice, and play your best golf. Visit FamilyGolfOnline.com. Get all the Totem info now at TMASTL.com. Thank you. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. At the Morning After STL on YouTube and on TMASTL.com with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Iggy Strode, The Plowboy, and Action Jackson.
7:07 in St. Louis. You're listening to the Ryan Kelly Morning After. We are in the Michelob Ultra Studios. Welcome, friends, to the Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Alton Toyota, 7 o'clock hour. Timothy Michael McKernan, Ken Iggy Strode. The Plowhawk is on the ones and twos in the Horton Watkins Studios, KG in O-Town. And on my right, if you're watching on our live stream on youtube.com/TMASTL, you're probably already handling yourself because, look, it's Marshy Marsh and the Playful Posse. Andrew Marsh from the Fast Lane. Hello, Marshy Marsh.
How you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
No, it's an honor to have you in here. Usually you're in here with your compadre Jackson, but Jackson is on that vacation with 12 of his buddies in a cabin in Sparta, Tennessee.
This weekend?
Yeah, that's where he is.
Really?
Doug's in the Mediterranean. Jackson's in Sparta, Tennessee, in a cabin.
Who do you think's having more fun right now?
Well, Jackson loves to bottom, and I don't think that Doug is getting that opportunity in the Mediterranean, so I think Jackson's having the better time.
Just like Nolan Gorman's not getting the opportunity to hit against lefties.
Wow. My God.
Yeah.
See, that's fast lane caliber sportscasting there, Plowhawk.
Yeah.
That's not what we do in this studio.
Yeah.
What do you think of our studio, by the way?
I think it looks great.
It looks great.
Yeah. I've heard
What
some
about this
things.
stuff?
Yeah, it looks great.
What do you think about? I noticed your pitch got higher there. Yeah, behind the Plowhawk.
That's some good tape right there.
We have so many that we have items of news to get to on the program. First off, Iggy, one of the best gets I thought since we've been at Hubbard Radio. Jeremy Piven, you may know him as Ari Gold from Entourage. Do you watch Entourage, or does that predate you? I mean, you were
No,
probably...
I you know what? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But I know, like, of it
Okay.
and whatnot. I know Jeremy Piven.
Yeah.
So
he was going to be in studio today. Iggy, tell the people the details and the chronology, if you would, here.
When you said that, I was trying to think of, we've had Tim Meadows in, right? Nikki Glazer. I'm pretty sure there was one. Oh, we had, what's his name? Used to do Saturday Night Live updates. Was in Weeds.
Kevin Nealon.
Kevin Nealon was in. So we've had some pretty big names in. But he's a big one. And I got a text last night. First of all, I was texting back and forth saying Meredith, who does the Helium promotions,
Helium Comedy Club.
said, can you guys promote his shows? I said, it's already up on all of our social medias. She goes, great. Like a half hour, and I said, are we calling him, or is he calling us?
Well, he was coming in studio.
But this is after she said, can you do it? Well, I'm getting ahead of myself.
That's why the chronology, Plowhawk,
Yeah,
is
it makes-
so
it makes
important.
sense.
Maybe
Okay.
I should have told the story
Yeah,
with
well-
the benefit of hindsight.
Well, she said he canceled his flights got canceled to St. Louis. Can you do a phoner? And that's when I reached out to you, and you said, sure. So I said, are we calling him? He
I
calling
thought
us?
the flight cancellation thing was odd.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. He's coming in.
If you're familiar, if you travel a decent enough, you know that is not
So
necessarily.
he's coming in on Thursday. He was coming in yesterday to get here. I mean, he wouldn't come in Friday morning at 6 o'clock. I'm straight here, so I'm guessing he was coming in last night. But she said it got canceled, so we wanted to do a phoner. I said, you said it's okay, so I said, yeah, we'll do it. Are we calling him? He calling us? Didn't get back to me for like a half hour. And then finally I just said, well, here's our number. If he's calling us, here's the number. If you want us to call him, give me a number. And 5 minutes later, she goes, he canceled the St. Louis shows.
Boom! Just like this. So the flight was canceled, and then a half hour later, Meredith gets back to you and says he just flat out canceled.
He's
So he
canceled.
is not appearing at Helium this weekend?
That's what
guess
she
so.
said, but I went to their website, and they're still selling tickets as of this morning. They have been promoting him, saying buy tickets. So you would think if he canceled, they would let them know so they could get it off their website. There might be people still buying tickets, and he's not coming. So I don't know. I didn't reach out to. I was hoping it wasn't just they're shading us. I was going to reach out to Riz and say,
I saw Riz after I did the 101 show yesterday, and he was giving me a little of his history with interviewing Jeremy Piven, which was certainly healthy to know going in, because he said one of the things that made Nealon so great when he was in was that he just did an interview. But sometimes, and it's one of the reasons why I love the tell that you use, if Riz has them in, you know it increases the probability that they're a good guest. What can be dangerous with a comedian is if the comedian comes in and just starts launching into their act. And then you're just sitting there, and now you're like kind of an audience held hostage, and you have to laugh because if you don't...
if the act is funny. Now, sometimes they don't want to do that. They just want to talk.
Well, that's
They
what I'm
don't
saying.
wanna-
That's what Kevin Nealon just said. We'll talk about whatever, which
Yeah.
is great. I was sick the day Tim Meadows was in, so I don't know what happened.
He was pretty good.
on that one. So that's why Riz was telling me, he goes, hey, just be aware that this is... And I go, man, I wanted to ask him about the Larry Sanders Show more than Entourage, in addition to the transition from acting to comedy, but that kind of gets into... I didn't realize he was Me Too'd. I just not locked in on it.
I
So
knew
he
that. And that's another
He
re-
is adamant that never happened. He did an interview this week with KTLA, I believe it was, and he was asked about it, and he kind of danced around it, but he said, I just, essentially, just it's not true. Now, just because he says it's not true doesn't mean it's true, but just because it was alleged doesn't mean it is true. We don't know. Either way, we were told stick to, his career and not that crap, which is fine. That's standard. I know some people might think that that's not standard. I assure you it's standard. So then he canceled the shows.
That's what she told me. But it's odd that they're still on the website. I mean, it was last night that he canceled. But still, you would think if he canceled, his manager or something would have called Helium and said, we're not coming, we're canceling. And they would take it off the website, but it's still on the website. So I'm really going to be pissed if he walks in here at like 8:30 and goes into the Riz show.
I would be surprised by that, but it'll be great entertainment if it happens. Sounds like Boots screwed the pooch again.
Yeah,
should have let Prod Joe set it up. That's from the 314. Guys, Piven saw it was HD2 and then decided he was out. Do you think that's what happened, Marsh? I know you're on HD1, so you probably kind of looked down on this show too, just like everybody else.
I don't know, man. I mean, I woke up this morning and showed up, so
Yeah, look, just to let listeners know, all I do was, I have a contact at Helium, and I've worked with them before, and the Riz show is a great contact with them. So when I first wanted to get our first guest, I think it might have been Tim Meadows. And I reached out to Riz. I said, we have a chance to get him, but she also said he's going on with you. Do you mind if we do him before you? And he goes, yeah, not at all. He goes, thanks for asking. But yeah, as long as he's out of your show by the time you get into ours. I said, yeah, I just didn't want to step on toes and get him before you did in our studio. So I always check with Riz. And so I have a contact, and she's been very good to me. And I saw he was coming about 2 weeks ago, and I said, any chance we can get Piven in the studio? And she said, checking, hold on. And then she got back to me, goes, yeah, he's going on Riz show at 8:55. What do you want to do? I said, 8:20. She goes, great. So that's all I did. It's not like I know Jeremy and I call him, hey, buddy, you want to come in? So I just go through a PR person. So.
All right. I don't know if he, I know he has an Instagram account because he was DMing on our Instagram account. And then Liv, who filled in yesterday, she sent me a DM showing that he had DM'd her, and not in a weird way, just to say, hey, thanks for promoting the show.
Is he listening?
I think the TMA social media.
Yeah, we put it up there.
I don't know. I'm not active on that. Who does that? Was that you this week, KG in O-Town with Jackson out?
Yeah, that's been me.
Has anybody heard KG in O-Town? Has anybody seen my nurse?
You got his mic up?
Nurse.
Yeah, mic's ready, bro.
Nurse.
Test.
Maybe
Nurse.
He's in the bathroom.
Come in, nurse. Has anybody seen my nurse? Nurse.
He's taking the Jackson bathroom breaks.
I don't know what's going on. I'm here.
Are you are handling our social media, right?
Yeah, I've been doing it this week.
Yeah.
So you put the Piven stuff up, right?
Yeah, he had asked me. He DM'd a couple nights ago and asked us to promote, and I talked with Jesse just to make sure that was all good to go. And yeah, I threw that post up there yesterday.
But he was DMing our account.
Yes.
Which I thought was a little odd.
I did too.
Okay, so you agree with that?
How would he know?
But I also know that maybe the person in the listening audience might not find that odd. I thought it was a little odd.
Unless
that it was he was doing it. I know you're going to say it might be a handler.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I was going to say.
But I got the sense that it was him. I know most people at that level or who are at a level have people who handle it for them so they don't have to deal with it. But I got the sense that it was him. So that struck me as a little strange. That's not the way that it usually works, just to give the audience context.
Yeah.
But I was looking forward to the interview.
So was
I. Don't
I.
know, when Riz told me, like I said, we talked right after I got done with the 101 show, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. And I go, so how did you handle that when he did it? He goes, well, I just kind of redirected it back to, an interview as opposed to being a captive audience of a guy doing his act.
Yeah. I actually DM'd him this morning, and I said, sorry you're not joining us this morning. That's all I said.
Nice.
Sometimes we have anecdotes on
I wasn't going to say what happened. Why did you cancel the shows? Or, I did say, sorry you're not going to be joining us this morning. I understand you canceled the shows. And that was my question. I understand you canceled the shows. Not to say what happened, just maybe he'll answer. He won't answer.
I'm bummed out. Legitimately, Ari Gold is my favorite television character of all time. I was looking forward to this one.
I was too, man, for real. Sometimes we'll have them, and I'll be like, Iggy, can you handle this? You kind of want it more than I do. But on this one, But again, I was envisioning somebody who was going to do an interview, and if we were going to be sitting there and he's doing his act, it would have been awkward, for lack of a better term, and then you're just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
and the audience knows it because they know the show, and it would have just been. But if it would have been an interview, it would have been great. So I don't know. I don't know why
comedians would do that when they do interviews. You're just giving away your material at the show that you're going to do that night. I don't know why you would go into your act.
I think for him, in his particular case with the career situation, that might be it's a prevent defense, but it's used as an offense. In other words, he is the active party going into it. So then that way, the more time you drain, the less you can open up to getting asked about 2018. Because in advance of the interview, I was researching and saw this, and then he just did this interview on KTLA within the last week. It was a podcast, so you can listen to it, about the Me Too thing. And there was a bunch of allegations, including on the Entourage set.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's ever brought any suits against him or sued him. He's adamantly denied it, but then again, most of them do. So you don't know if it's true or not. But she actually asked me, she says, could you please not talk about anything other than, comedy in the shows? I said, no, we didn't plan on talking about that. So maybe she's reaching out for that and said, can you make sure they don't talk about this? Which is fine. And but that's another reason, because I knew about the allegations. And there was that, who was that comedian was in town, very well-known black gentleman, always wears his hat backwards on stage. God, I can't think of it, but he was in town, and he's funny as hell and well-known. And I reached out to you and said, would you want him? And you said no. And then I asked Rizza, you guys bringing him in? He goes, no. So I knew that was a good choice, because they won't go to anybody who's got allegations, and some girls have sued because of Me Too. They want no part of it.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that was the background.
Well, he didn't say because of that. He just said, no, we're not doing them. Or I asked King Scott, he goes, no, we're not doing them. So that's usually a tell. If Riz doesn't want somebody that big and they have those allegations, but maybe because of Ari, nobody's sued him, nobody's taken him to court, and nobody's come forward after he said, I didn't do anything. So it's kind of a sticky slope,
Sticky slopes.
It's a sticky slope.
Sticky
There's the title of the 7 o'clock hour. KG Town, that's already taken care of. The good news is that your cramped bathroom stall of a podcast studio likely couldn't fit guests anyways. Rare W for HD2. Thanks, that comes from Dragon Slayer. Sent an unsolicited passive-aggressive DM to our 30th person to cancel an interview last minute on us.
It wasn't a passive-aggressive. I was just curious if he'd answer me why I wasn't coming. I'd say, what happened to you, man?
Guys, you got to try to get Sinbad in instead. That's from Peg Diaz.
How'd it feel to pitch with a lead like that? Nice.
You maybe heard how many times you say the phrase reach out, and he decided to cancel everything in St. Louis. That's from Herb's Hog. Kenny is the Energizer Bunny this morning. That's from Babe Truth. Brady Farkas from the Producers Podcast would have been able to get him in studio. Ken's losing his touch. Marsh, you were on Brady Farkas.
I absolutely was.
Who is Brady Farkas?
Just a guy that interviews producers.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the market with that?
I don't know. I think that there's a round one of funding currently, because it's just really turned out a nice P&L in 2022, and I think they're going to raise about $10 million for Brady's.
This is the Producers Podcast with Brady Farkas.
Hey, so
Is that a Barrett thing?
check this out. So I'm doing the fast lane and whatnot, and I'm reading off this article about the A's fans doing a reverse boycott.
Yes, the reverse boycott.
The reverse boycott. And so the article that came up was from, I think, like SI.com.
Yeah.
I don't know what the website was. But I wanted to give credit to the person that ended up writing it. And when I scrolled through and, I'm reading it or whatever, I just kind of glanced past the person that wrote it. But once I brought it up on air, I wanted to bring up, like I said, who wrote the
Credit
article.
the source.
Credit the source. I look at the name, lo and behold, Brady Farkas.
Brady Farkas is everywhere. Brady Farkas is hosting this Producers Podcast, and he's covering the Oakland A's. Brady's got a tough road right now. Maybe KG should take over booking the comedians. Thanks. That's from the Hunchback of Von Castle.
No. I struck out on Ella Reese, too.
I was wondering if you were going to surprise us, and when I say us, let's be honest,
You.
me,
Yeah.
with Ella Reese today. Are you familiar with Ella Reese, Marshy Marsh?
I'm not sure.
Well, I'm going to be really pleased to introduce you to her.
Yeah, send me a picture.
Yeah, she is, from my standpoint, one of the best in the business right now. Although she's kind of gone into the heavy lip filler thing. Are you noticing that with your
generation?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Even in your what, 27?
27, yeah.
27, and they're already doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if they're doing like the actual like shots. Maybe they are.
Yes,
honestly,
they are,
I have no idea, but I have seen a difference in some people.
It's just, I guess it started within the last 5 years.
I will say some
like
look
aggressively.
Some look better than others, for sure.
Well, you look that up. I'll give you 3 porn star updates from last night.
Bizarre. I hit that too early.
Actually, it was almost like foreshadowing. That was Stedman-esque. It's like Iggy went there, but you were already there before he went there.
You haven't even shown me the photo yet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
looking from
trying
afar.
I'm trying to give you.
Whoa.
Here you go.
Okay, here we go. Let's look at that real quick.
See what it's doing. What do you think?
Well, she is sitting pretty, for sure.
And I thought KG, but KG in O-Town, what's going on with? She just doesn't get back.
Yeah, radio silence.
Yeah, she wakes up late in the day, so to speak.
She's very active on Instagram, but
she
not
is.
But how many followers does she have?
Or your follower judge?
159,000.
No, because if you have too many, you're not checking your DMs.
Yeah, and it doesn't say she
you could
has
have, like,
seen the
1,000 in
message.
your stag star. Oh, it does?
No, it does not say that she has seen it.
Yeah, that's my girl Ella Reese.
Yeah, a lot of these porn stars that have well over 150,000, they're just
Oh
not.
God, what just happened? Did the assassin enter?
They'll learn.
The Learn thing, we probably need a new Learn cutout.
No, it's just
why
it's
do we-
not. It won't hang anywhere.
But I mean, it's folded in the middle.
I know. Well, that's when we put it in the cart
Dude, I'm not kidding. It was,
last year. We had to
Sorry,
fold it to get it in there.
Sorry, Learn, for this, but yesterday, it was like before I was leaving, the sound story was here. Having her there was super weird, that cutout.
It's John Hewlett interviews somebody.
But somebody moved the trash can or something, and it looked like Learn was like standing over their trash can puking, pretty much, because like the cutout. Oh, so it was awkward. We
so
do need to find a place to hang
The
it.
3 porn star updates quickly. It's just.
This is you can use this on the fast lane.
Yeah, I mean, there were 3 of them that I was intertwining with kind of yesterday.
Intertwining with.
Lexi Bell was in Chicago at the.
You're a big fan of hers.
Yeah, I think she moved to Colorado. She used to live in Chicago, and she dated a guy from St. Louis.
Went to Cardinal games, Marsh.
Yeah, she was always in town for stuff. But she was at the Cubs game yesterday. I found that out because earlier I saw PGA Pro Dan posted a picture for his birthday. Him and his wife went up to Chicago. They were at the Wrigley game, at the Cubs game.
But how did that tie into Lexi Bell?
Because then I saw Lexi Bell like 20 minutes later. I saw her Instagram where she was at Wrigley Field. She was in Chicago. So she was there.
Cardinal Nation all day.
Bella Danger was all over last night. I guess they had the Brazzers Awards, and she won a bunch of awards last night.
Congratulations to Bella.
And then I DM'd Dillian Harper to see if she wanted to go to the Cure with me. I won't hear any back from that, but...
Well, you got to shoot to score. You can't put a puck on net and score, Marsh, unless you have the balls to fire that puck on net.
100%.
And you had the balls to do it.
Yeah, she'd have to fly in from Stuart, Florida to St. Louis, and then we were going to take an Amtrak up to Chicago. I'm sure she'd be happy to that.
Take an Amtrak.
I want to take a train. I've never
Could she
taken a
just
train.
meet you? Like she could fly
Well, she
out
could,
of-
yeah, that's fine. But I've never...
I mean, she can drive from Stewart to Palm Beach. I'm sure there's multiple options of direct flights, and she can just meet you at...
Well, she won't get back to me, but that would be a option. But, yeah, I checked out... it's only $55 one person round trip to Chicago. And you get there about the same time as a car. I think it's a 5-hour train ride. So I think that's what I'm going to do.
Marsh, that lid is fire. I'm a Titleist guy. Tim and Plowsy, way to represent it. You're Titleist, too. Nice to see Ken has his porn convention hat on, though. Looking good, boys. That's from Mr. 63011. Is that your... Oh, that's the hat you wore to the
At the porn convention,
AVNs.
yeah.
And it's the American Junior Golf Association hat.
Yeah.
Yes. Just
Where's
so
there
perfect.
a porn convention at?
Well, there's a lot of them. This is in Las Vegas. There's one in
that makes more
Miami.
sense.
I think there might be one like in Jersey.
There's Chicago this weekend, that the Exotica that
Maybe
Lisa
Dillian's
Ann's going
there.
to. Lisa Ann's
Oh,
going
Lisa
to.
Ann's going to it?
Yeah, I don't think she goes to any of these anymore because she doesn't do anything other than OnlyFans.
She just said she's going to it.
No, Dillian.
Oh, Dillian.
I don't think she went to the AVNs last year because she's only doing OnlyFans. She's not doing any, companies anymore, not promoting anything. But yeah, Dillian or Lisa Ann will be in Chicago for Exotica.
All right, there it is.
How do you not have a conversation with a porn star, but like when you go to these conventions, like, do you go up to them and say, hey, I've seen
Oh,
your
yeah,
work,
you do
like,
that.
great job? You know, are you like Cardinal fans? Do you get upset when, you know, maybe they're not performing at the expectations that you think they should?
So, like, you hold them accountable.
You hold them
Bad
accountable.
anal scene back in January.
Well, I think we have some Biff clips. You can hear what Biff has.
Yeah, Plowhawk.
Yeah.
I
There's a lot. No, there's just a lot of
What is it?
them.
What?
Well, we have a caller into the program. You
Biff,
might hear from him. His name is Biff.
Not B-Fib?
No, not B-Fib.
Ha.
Although he does live right across from the ballpark in
Gotcha.
one of those apartment buildings, Marsh. And he has guests from Hot Shots and Hooters and Twin Peaks come by regularly. But he went to the AVNs with Iggy. They did some wonderful interviews. Plowhawk, you don't happen to have a sampling.
Yeah.
Could you think of a way to use the gummy candy in a sex scene, like gummy worms or licorice?
He's into, I think his kink is food. And hey,
Okay.
you know, we don't kink shame on this show.
No,
It's one
we
of our,
don't.
It's one of our tenets. What else do we have?
This is always how he ends his interview, typically with.
So out in Oklahoma, do they have some good fries out there, girl?
I'm talking about.
Let us know if you want to use that for the fast lane.
I
Hell of a drop.
I can't. I don't have the other ones like his actual full-length interviews open. Just because they are like 20 minutes in length, and typically I usually don't play them full.
Yeah, one thing you'll find about Biff is even when he comes on the show, he doesn't know when you say, okay, we got to go, that means goodbye.
Yeah.
Tim will say, okay, Biff, we got to go. Oh, wait, I got 5 more.
Yeah, he has oftentimes
quick
has
list.
lists. You can text in, as many are already doing this morning, and it's wonderful to see on a Friday. 314-881-TMA5. That is the EDF Group text inbox, and you can email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. Design Air is online at designairservice.com. The great Seth Goldcamp will take wonderful care of you. Iggy, we went from having, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like Southern California weather for about a week and a half to now, it's relatively okay from a temperature standpoint. Just a lot of clouds in the forecast over the next.
Yeah, it's the next
in the
week
60s.
is, kind of like fall. I call it fallish spring.
Fall spring.
It's fallish spring. Because it's kind of like high 40s for low and then high 50s for a high. Not really spring weather because it's going to be cloudy. So it's kind of, but that's about a week. All next week's going to be, get up in the morning, it's going to be in the 40s and 50s and low 60s throughout the week. But then we get into this, it's going to be like 70, I think, for Fan Page Club Championship.
Yeah, if you haven't paid for that J. Randolph Jr. Fan Page Club Championship, call the Gateway Pro Shop. Sean Barnes said about half paid when they were supposed to on Tuesday. So if you haven't paid, make sure you call the Gateway Pro Shop. But while the temperatures are calm, because you know it's going to get hotter than hell within the first couple of weeks of May, it's just the way that it works. Go to designairservice.com and get your air conditioning checked up for 2023 and get it tuned up with Seth and his staff. DesignAirService.com. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling, the official HVAC provider of TMA and the Tim McKernan Show podcast online at DesignAirService.com. Ryan Kelly has been the title sponsor of this program going back a decade, and we are grateful for the support of Ryan and his team at thehomeloanexpert.com. People might not be aware of this, but credit card rates are at a point that they are higher than any time in the past 3 decades. If you have credit card debt, use the equity you have in your home to refi and then take care of that credit card debt and work with the home loan expert to do so. Credit card debt refinancing, the average credit card debt interest rate is over 24%, the highest it's been in more than 30 years. And with inflation, people are carrying more debt than ever. Put your equity in your home to work with you for a simple cash-out refinance. The average home loan expert client receives over $54,000 cash out on their refinance. Work with Ryan Kelly. He's online at thehomeloanexpert.com. And the EDF Group, the sponsor of the text inbox, that's Engineer Design Facilities, heretofore known as the EDF Group. The most experienced data center and critical facility service provider in the St. Louis market. Check out the newly revamped website, theedfgroup.com, and take a look at each of the 3 divisions they have to offer. EDF Group is your one throat to choke for all your critical facilities, data center, commercial, fire alarm, and electrical and IT infrastructure needs. To contact the EDF Group, email fire@theedfgroup.com. Experience the EDF Group difference and learn more about the edfgroup.com. That text number 314-881-TMA5. You're welcome to call in 636-9004-TMA. And, of course, email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. They are very active in this text inbox this morning. How disappointed will Dillian be when Ken hands her a knapsack with a can of beans and breaks the news that they're going to have to chase down the freight train if she wants to make it to the concert on time? That's from Arbor Day.
Amtrak, I know. But if I could get a freight train like a hobo that I know is going to Chicago, I'd jump on it.
Wow. Can you imagine how uncomfortable that would be?
Yeah. What do you care? At least I could smoke.
Mr. Licks, not happy with the fan page. Genuine question, why does the fan page trend older? Gets kind of old going to the fan page and hearing boomers complain about stupid crap or post the same cheap bourbon they drink every night. Thanks, that's from Mr. Licks. And Babe Truth asks, can you ask Plowsy how much fire he sparked up yesterday, Plowhawk, for 20? Probably just standard. I mean,
standard issued. I mean, no need to overdo it. You know, I typically, I'm feeling it mostly every minute of every day. So
why is that a big thing for you and the 420 people? Because you do it every day anyway.
I think the guys like the Plowhawker who are true to the game day in, day out probably don't think it's that big of a deal.
Do you think
that
it's overrated? Some people find like
420 to be overrated?
Well, yeah, I mean,
or New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, it could be an overrated holiday.
I would say it's certainly in the New Year's Eve realm, to where if you do have something set up with a group of friends, it can be fun, but there's no need to stay up late. There's no need to overdo it just because it's a specific day. So
no, like, oh, it's 420 on 420. I gotta spark up.
I dominated some Mexican food. It might have been the best.
What'd you have?
It's a place I live right by, but never. Pueblo Solis.
Oh, you have Pueblo Solis right by where I grew up.
It's unbelievable.
On Hampton.
It was beautiful.
Oh,
the
it's
margaritas
phenomenal.
were great.
Now that you bring that up, I might have to go there this weekend.
The chips were fresh and like 3 different salsas.
Pueblo
Solis,
it's great.
baby.
Yeah. It is strong.
They had
strong.
multiple salsas.
Yeah, 3 different kinds of salsas. So
I think it's like Hampton and Dolores,
yep.
if memory serves.
Yeah, other than tacos, I've never gotten into Mexican food. I just don't eat it.
Is that right?
I never get in the mood for it, but it's always good when I have it. It's a weird.
Absolutely.
It's not like I'm like, oh man, I need an enchilada. But like when I go and get one, I'm like, oh man, that was amazing.
Those are great.
Mr. Licks brought up the fan page. We have great material from the fan page this morning.
Really?
Yeah, for real. I know you can't see it, but KG in O-Town, you cut the audio. Now, I don't know if this was posted by somebody who was in attendance or if it's just making its way around the internet. Do you know what this is?
I saw Brad Packer.
Right, but I don't know if he was the person who was the guest or if he just posted it and it's making its way around the internets. I don't know. Anybody, KG in O-Town, do you know on that?
I'm not sure. I saw the same thing you did, but I don't know if that was firsthand or just something that was
It looked like firsthand video, but
Okay.
again, it's easy just to copy and paste.
So Eli Drinkwitz, the Plowhawks' current avatar on Twitter, following the landmark win over Arkansas, spoke last night, I guess. I don't know. Spoke recently at Greenbrier Country Club. And Brad Packer, as the Plowhawk just said, posted this video. And I don't know if he was in attendance or if, he just texted me. He said, I was a guest there. Wow, this Brad Packer.
Love
God
Brad
bless
Packer.
you,
Love
Brad
the Packer boys.
Yeah, Danny Packer and Brad Packer. Right. And Eli Drinkwitz was asked about the quarterback situation for the upcoming season. And here is the audio directly from, we credit our sources, just like you tried to do.
Yes, we do.
With Brady Farkas.
Absolutely.
Our source is Brad Packer at Greenbrier Country Club.
He's as tough as it gets, okay? But we all got to be better, right? Just like I got to be a better coach, he's got to continue to be a better quarterback. And the only way to do that is to create competition. The cream always rises to the top, all right? And so we've asked him to improve in a couple of key areas. And if he'll do that, guess what? He'll be our starting quarterback, okay? If he doesn't, then he opens the door for Jay Garcia or Sam Horn to come in and compete for that job. And at the end of the day, we're all looking for a few more wins, right? And if that's the difference in having a different quarterback, then that's what we got to do, all right? But I'm very excited. We since I've been here, this is the most talented we've been and the deepest we've been in the quarterback room. All 3 of those guys have a future in the game of football at quarterback outside of college. I mean, with the XFL and USFL crud, some of y'all could play for him.
He just attacked the XFL.
He couldn't coach that.
Is that a crab sandwich?
He just attacked the XFL.
So, but we are talented at that position. And I am excited about this competition. Some people think that's uncertainty. No, we know what we got. We're looking to see, can we get a little bit better? And can we push a little bit farther? Can we create that competition amongst our team that say, hey, man, everybody's got to improve for us this year because we got something to prove.
There it is, courtesy of Brad Packer. That's Missouri head coach Eli Drinkwitz. Plowhawk, I know you're bullish on the team and the quarterback situation. Marsh, I know you're an XFL guy. Plowhawk, you get the floor first.
Look, I don't like his personality. Didn't from day one. He's one of the best salesmen, though, I've ever seen from afar. This dude somehow landed an SEC gig and somehow got an extension and just barely surviving in what is a deep high school. I mean, there's a bunch of 4- and 5-star to recruit out here in St. Louis. He can't seem to do it. And then he takes a shot at the XFL. In 4 or 5 years, when he's like drowning at like an offensive coordinator at like a Louisiana Tech, he's going to need these USFL and XFL league to save his career. So sadly, this is just what Mizzou's going to have to deal with this year. 6 wins, he's fired, and y'all can regroup with an actual head coach.
Wow, there it is. Plowhawk, very direct on the analysis.
Got to be it.
Was that a quarterback club thing, or is that Greenbrier paid him to come in and speak?
I don't know what that was.
I think it was a Mizzou Athletics Club dinner.
Okay, because normally they pick a restaurant or something that'll pay to bring them in. I'm not sure Greenbrier would say, yeah, we'll pay to bring them in.
Let's see. Cream rises to the top. Wasn't that a Dan Marshall line from that press conference? That's from Conclusion, the stripper. How many times did he say the word right?
Yeah.
That's from TJ. I'm sorry. Drink is comparable to Denzel Washington in Remember the Titans. Yeah, I've heard that analogy many a time. You're a Battlehawks guy.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the
I'm
audience?
on the same line of thinking as the Plowboy right here. I don't like the slander of the XFL, especially when Mizzou is no great program football-wise. That is. I don't know. I've watched some of their games last year. They're not really all that impressive, and I think it would be fun to see them do well in the SEC. Maybe they did give Georgia, a scare last year.
That's right.
But maybe it's
100%.
an inconsistent thing, and maybe that starts at the top. I don't know.
Didn't he kind of trash his own quarterbacks then by saying that?
Yeah, he did.
He said, yeah, I mean, these guys are going to play after college, XFL, US, whatever it is.
USFL.
US.
By
He
the way,
said, yeah,
that league
you guys can
stinks.
play for that. So you're basically saying your quarterbacks are no better than these guys sitting out here in the audience.
So it sounds like from that, outside of XFL critiquing, that Brady Cook is the guy if he is healthy.
As he should be. And I don't understand why he wasn't putting the blame on Brady Cook, but he was putting a lot of, well, he'll be the starter if he does this, this, and this. Look at the stats from the 3 games Drinkwitz did not call plays. Brady Cook was a top 3 SEC quarterback, was running for 130, 140 yards a game. I think he had 11 or 12 touchdowns, no picks in those 3-game stretches. And I do believe all 3 were wins. So my whole point is, then Drinkwitz takes over the play calls again, and he is dreadful. He's miserable. He looks lost. He's doing Sammy check down like Sam Bradford made a career out of. I do not understand why it's anybody else's fault but Eli Drinkwitz. That dude, Brady Cook, not only helped you get to a bowl, which is the only thing you really care about. I mean, he's salvaging your coaching career right now, and he played injured. I so confused why Brady Cook had to continue to work hard for a guy who's thrown 2 passes and a guy who's on his, 3rd program in 3 years?
Larry Thornton, who is a big Missouri fan, says the following: Drink is all bark, no bite. He says whatever people want to hear. Outside of that, he brings nothing to the table. Wow, that's coming from Larry Thornton. I'd be curious, Larry, if you felt that way from the get-go, or if something has happened in his tenure that made you feel that way. To Plowsy's point, this is one of the best high school recruiting classes to come out of Missouri.
Ever.
And Drinkwitz didn't get anybody. The cream rises to Drink's belly. That's from Babe Truth.
That's where it starts.
Really? He didn't get anybody?
They have 2 5-stars and I think 4 or 5 4-stars and a ton of really good 3-stars in this area. This year was the year for Drink to solidify his recruiting prowess. He had 1, but then decommitted and went to Oregon, I think, last week. But I'm not saying you're going to get those 5-star. I mean, go to your USC's, Alabama's, Florida. I get that, but if you don't get any of them in state, man, I don't care how good of a recruiter you are, you can't do anything with your local fan base.
Did he get any top players out of the portal?
I mean, Jake Garcia was a really good player, or at least highly touted in the portal, but I'm not sure. They lost one.
I mean, that's how teams are building their clubs nowadays.
Is Drinkowitz the Ali Marmol of the SEC? That's from Woof Boy.
Yes.
KG and O-Town
That was
immediately.
real quick.
KG and O-Town.
Nice.
I'm not a fan. I'm in Plowsy's camp on this one.
In personality, I don't mind being like the rah-rah guy, but he doesn't seem like a guy that's going to fall on any kind of sword for his players. It always seems like it's someone else. It's something else going on. He always has a reason to where it's going to be next year. It's going to be next year. I just don't like his personality. He doesn't man up to anything. He just kind of, like Larry said it perfect. He says exactly what people and fans want to hear, even though it's not true.
Are we all in agreement that if he wins 6 games, he's fired?
If he does not win 6 games.
If he just wins 6 or less, is he
I
fired?
don't know on the 6. If he wins 5 or less, I would say that he would most likely be let go. Yes.
Yeah. It's an 8 or 9 win schedule in terms of where the teams are that they're playing.
You see it as an 8 or 9? Really? Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I think they still have, some guaranteed losses.
Do you think his success relies on how much success Luther Burden has? Because he is such a highly touted player that if he doesn't progress and make strides towards being an NFL player and be the player that people thought he was going to be coming into college, like I feel like Drink's success hinges upon what he does this upcoming year.
Certainly, but then that ties into an offensive line that, had its issues, and then certainly the quarterback position. They're all intertwined.
I mean,
and
imagine him leaving, though.
That would get things really going. South Dakota, Middle Tennessee, Memphis, and Vanderbilt start the season with K-State in the middle of those 4 in mid-September. So you should exit September at a minimum 4-1, and there's a chance that they would be 5-0. I'd probably put that chance in the 30% range because you'd have to check off the boxes against the games you expect they would win and then beat Kansas State. But Missouri will be favored in 4 of the 5 for certain.
Is K-State here? Or
K-State's in Columbia. They played them in Manhattan last year. And then you have at home against Brian Kelly and his dialect in LSU. You have Kentucky in Lexington, at home against the Gamecocks, and then at Athens, at home against Tennessee, at home against the Gators, and then at Fayetteville to finish it off. So the September is certainly much more kind than it was the previous year.
Yeah, I think,
the first 5 games, I suppose I should say, because you had a trip to Manhattan, and Georgia was early on in the season. And plus, when you looked at the schedule when it came out a couple of years ago, you got at Auburn, against Florida, at home against Georgia, and then, as it turned out, Florida wasn't very good, and Auburn was bad. So those became much more winnable, and they sure as hell gave Georgia one of their biggest scares, if not their biggest scare of the year.
And I don't know what, every SEC quarterback situation. You're talking in, Kentucky without Levis and Florida without Richardson. Obviously, they're probably a 5-star on both teams that are going to replace them. But, there's 8 wins for sure. You're going to lose to Georgia, Tennessee, more than likely Arkansas. I think they start 5-0. But, yeah, that stretch in November is a challenge.
I've heard this Jake Garcia. Is that his name? Jake Garcia?
Yes.
That he's a pretty good ball player. One of my good friends is a Miami Hurricanes fan, and he's been kind of hyping this dude up.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. He said he'll be the starting quarterback at the end of the year.
How about that? So, well, then if that happens,
I don't know if that's going to happen.
If that happens, then that would indicate either Cook just isn't healthy or gets hurt, or that he would lose the job. Because in that soundbite, Eli Drinkwitz is, clear that that is, assuming that he does his job, he's going to be the starter. Larry Thornton has replied to my query, and he uses his real name, and I know him, and that is why I read his text, and I know he's a big Missouri guy. I loved him coming in. I loved the bravado, but hoped it was backed up with substance. He came in like he was going to throw it all around and light up the scoreboard. Instead, they throw 2-yard outs and smoke cigars when they get to 6 and 6. I'm tired of it. That's from Larry Thornton. You can text in 314-881-TMA5. You are also welcome to call in 636-900-4TMA. And, of course, email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Brad Packer, who was in attendance, and that was his video, just texted me, Dickie Nutt spoke before drink and absolutely brought the house down. That's Dickie Nutt, who is one of Dennis Gates' assistants. He said, so funny and upbeat. Everybody was talking about Dickie Nutt after the event was over. I think Drink was self-conscious following Nutt. Drink said they are moving Luther to the slot this season to get more touches. That is from Brad Packer. How about Dickie Nutt outshining the head coach?
That's a hell of a name.
Dickie Nutt, brother of Houston Nutt. When I was having a glorious television career in Little Rock, Arkansas, Marshy Marsh, Houston Nutt was the head coach of the Razorbacks in Fayetteville. And on the eastern side of the state, Dickie Nutt was the head coach of the Arkansas State Club. And I think they've since changed their name. Somebody will have to tell me on that.
Iggy, have you ever seen him at the porn convention?
I do believe there is a Nut.
Is there? Well, it would only stand to reason.
And there's a lot of Dickies.
Isn't Missouri on the final list for another 5-star wide receiver transfer? That's from Sonia. Plowhawk, you're monitoring the recruiting like the Colonel, I feel like.
I just have absolutely no clue about that. But I do know they had a lot of great seniors and juniors coming in next year as seniors in the high school realm.
Dickie Nutt was the head coach here at SEMO. Great friend of my family, not a better speaker around. Great man, too. That's from Flocky the Smurf.
Imagine, that probably happens at Alabama when Saban speaks. The head baseball coach probably steals his thunder. That's what all the big, the big-time SEC coaches have to deal with.
So the Affleck star?
He is, him and Coach Prime.
Wow, that's so weird.
Are in there as
What
well.
do you think about Coach Prime? How do you think Colorado's going to do this year?
Well, I noticed that on my ESPN app, they have their spring game in there, and I don't think they probably did last year. So at the very least, they're getting attention.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see it. I hadn't monitored Colorado football in years, so I'm anxious to see how it translates.
Have you seen his show on Amazon? You should watch it.
Oh, is that right?
It's pretty good.
It's all that video that he's always got people shooting. So
yeah,
it's real.
It was basically like a little documentary series with him at JSU, and then towards the end of it, his transition to Colorado. And just some of the way he goes about things kind of fires you up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's certainly so far worked. I'm anxious to see how it works when he gets to the Pac-12. I said this earlier. 5-star wide receiver Ryan Wingo from SLU is visiting Missouri, but sure he can't recruit St. Louis. That's from Kevin's brother, Jack Demoff.
Wait. Is that guy defending drinks? Recruiting?
I can't speak for Kevin's brother, Jack.
He's lost 7 in the top 150 this year. So you talking to a guy who's probably going to go to Oklahoma or Florida State, so you're getting him in the living room? It's like Mosaic. It's like finishing third in a Bryce Harper. Whoa, we offered him $50 million.
Kevin's brother, Jack Demoff.
It's like, what did that matter?
636-9004-TMA. Drink is Jackie Moon from Semi-Pro. He is all empty words and promotions to hide behind his bad coaching. I think last summer he was giving out free gas and started pouring it on himself and dancing around. That's from caller Buzz. Guys, if we get Wingo, I will Venmo Kevin's brother, Jack Demoff, $20. All right, Babe Truth is just offering money out. So there you go. On this program, we welcome you to get a sound story for Mother's Day. You will hear Joe Buck talking about sound story here on a variety of Hubbard radio stations starting next week. And you can book yours before the people start booking theirs for Mother's Day. One of the things that me and my brothers and sister did a couple of years ago is we came in and told stories of our childhood and expressed our gratitude to my parents for raising us and everything that they have sacrificed, and gave that to them as a gift, and that is something that I would recommend as a wonderful Mother's Day present. You can book it at mysoundstory.com. The promo code TMA will get you 15% off. That's promo code TMA, mysoundstory.com. You come in here yesterday. John Hewlett was conducting one. I have a couple next week. And we welcome you to get the gift certificate. Real easy. You'll be done shopping for Mother's Day in about 2 minutes at mysoundstory.com. Enter the promo code TMA. Or you can schedule it and come in with your siblings, or just come in by yourself and present this to Mom for Mother's Day. It's mysoundstory.com. It's so difficult to find a great gift that conveys the gratitude and love you have for your mother. But this is something that you know she will absolutely love and you will always, always have and will mean the world to her. mysoundstory.com, mysoundstory.com, promo code TMA. I am 100% positive Wingo is not going to Mizzou. I'm not lying. I know more than one source. That's from the 314. It's been known he is going to Tennessee for months. That's from St. Louis Lacrosse School. Huh. Somebody's texting in a St. Louis Lacrosse School.
Well, at least the SEC East didn't get...
Never mind. Plowhawk. Hey, Darren, why don't you go back to Pueblo Solis and eat some chips and leave the football talk to the grown-ups? That's from Big Tuft.
What are they defending? I said Drink can't recruit. He can't. Maybe you can get him in the transfer portal, but, I mean, dudes are decommitting and going over there to the Pac-12 and are going to your rival in Tennessee. I don't know. Maybe tell me why I'm wrong.
You have the same take as a lot of people.
Drinkwitz is terrible, man. He's a terrible coach. Terrible.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't know that the drink thing was going to get the whole thing. I just thought it was a fun little soundbite. But who
little
would
side
have thought,
story?
Who would have thought here in mid-April that Eli Drinkwitz would be getting the response that it is here? How often do you guys talk Missouri football? And I felt like probably not often.
Never.
Right.
Yeah, never do.
Yeah.
I mean, what's there to talk about?
So that's one of the things that, if you're in a city without an NFL team and you are the only, and you're in the SEC too, and you haven't been able to corner the market, and also I'll use the market, the noun, and then also market the verb, market the product into the, what is a larger city than Kansas City, at least, for now, that has not only the Super Bowl champions, but a couple of personalities who certainly drive attention. So you're in competition with them, plus K-State isn't far away from Kansas City, and Lawrence is super close. I would think they would be all over it, but that's just not the way that they have done it. And, I'm at this point used to it, even though I am a huge Missouri fan. But I was on the receiving end of a lot of Missouri fans' hate when Drinkwitz was hired, and I said, I hope it works. I just don't necessarily get a good feel for him. But I've been wrong on plenty of things before. I happen to, at least in the early going, it looks like, be right on my read on Dennis Gates. And it's not that he necessarily can't coach, because what can I speak to his coaching? It's the personality. Yeah. The personality struck me as being overly salesy, a politician, and that's what had people excited. And I think that LSU win in his first year, which at the time looked a lot better than it was. That wasn't the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase LSU.
Right.
That was we got guys not playing because of COVID. LSU.
Have you seen progress, though? Like with Dennis Gates, you immediately saw progress with that program.
You did, even in games that I thought they were going to lose. One that stands out to me, super obscure. You got to be really into Missouri basketball to be even able to recall their game at Wichita State. But they were able to handle that deficit on the road with composure and run a couple of plays out of timeout that they executed and come back. But even if they lost that game, and go, oh, that's nice to see, because it wasn't going on with Konzo Martin.
For sure.
So you can see it. Now I've gone from being, again, and this is like the hardcore Missouri fan base portion, because I was, I guess, the wet blanket for their love for Eli Drinkwitz. But Gabe DeArmond and I have talked about this. That hardcore wing also was really excited about Konzo Martin initially.
Right.
And then they turned on Konzo Martin very quickly. And now I guess that might be where Drinkwitz is. But again, I think they should start off at worst 4-1. The test will be what takes place. But so therefore, I'm in a weird spot now that I think I'm higher on him than the people who were hating on me because I wasn't high on him when he first came out, and the LSU thing that I think combined to lead to a lot of optimism that didn't really have a whole lot of substance behind it. Dennis Gates, I think, was the byproduct of people being just unfamiliar with the Cleveland State coach, which I absolutely was.
Right.
But I thought his press conference had traits of sincerity. I wouldn't say it was to the level of when Gary Pinkel was hired. The thing that I liked about Pinkel, and I don't know if you'll see a Gary Pinkel anymore. I don't know if those days are possible to see that anymore. But Gary Pinkel was so broken up about leaving Toledo.
Yeah.
Where he's usually, I would think at this point, coaches are going to leave schools like Toledo within a year or two. And it killed him to leave Toledo. And I thought, God, that's a guy who has some real character. And Kearney would always talk about program. He didn't talk about team. He used the word program. Well, program to me conveys, I know it's going to take time.
For sure.
But a program requires foundation. A program is not built with cutesy appearances.
Right.
A program is built over time. And I loved when he chided some people. I think it was one person asked him a question about a moral victory by not getting blown off the field by Vince Young in Texas. And he goes, hey, we're not here to have moral victories. That's not what this is about.
Right.
I just don't think, and I realize they're different personalities, but I don't think Gary Pinkel would have been jumping around hugging people like Jim Valvano and smoking a cigar and posing with a cigar following a win that would have gotten him to 6-6. Now, again, I'm comparing two extreme personalities, and Pinkel is an extreme contradiction, and it's really not fair to hold anybody to that because he did things in Columbia that haven't been done in most people's lifetime. But what disappoints me, I think, is that expectations aren't set higher. In order to achieve greatness, you have to visualize that greatness is realistic. And I feel like oftentimes some Missouri football fans settle and will take whatever crap is peddled their way.
Yeah.
And I felt like Drinkwitz may have been peddling crap, and there wasn't a whole lot of substance behind it. That didn't mean I didn't want him to be successful. I'm a Missouri fan. Of course I want him to be successful, but when I'm on the air saying this stuff, and then it goes against what the hardcore Missouri fans are saying or seeing in their respective bubbles, then I became the bad guy. But he's got a full year here to see what he can do, and if he can get 7 wins on that schedule, I would imagine they would keep him around. And I certainly would like to see that, because when you start from scratch again and you're doing it in the SEC and you're not Alabama or whoever at the moment, and it's Georgia, but Georgia was down at a time. People forget that. Georgia went between Herschel Walker and Stetson Bennett to get their national championship. So it doesn't just come around all the time.
I just wonder how tough it is to maintain that culture, even start that culture, and start up a program, like you said, from the ground up with NIL money, with the transfer portal. You look at Georgia, they've been successful, but that was before the NIL stuff started coming through. Like, they've been successful for since back when I was in college, when they lost Alabama in that overtime game when Tua was quarterback. So they had that foundation, and now they've built upon that, and now they're having that success right now. I just feel like it's harder for these schools now, because guys are just bouncing back and forth, that it's hard to have that consistent
every year
culture.
it's free agency.
For sure.
But if your goal, and you're one of those premier players, is to play in the
keep
NFL,
those players,
then you have to go somewhere where you're going to play.
For sure.
And therefore it is free agency. And so it actually, I think, becomes more important with regards to the portal than the high school recruiting, as weird as it sounds, because you could have a guy who's absolutely ridiculous, but a program like Missouri, and this isn't a shot at Missouri, again, I keep saying it, it's so weird that I feel obligated to say it, I am a Missouri fan, can become like a AAA team for the big league, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, take your pick of whatever program is killing it at the moment. Tim, next year's schedule is, Darren is, okay, we had so many texts it fell down. Tim, next year's schedule has 6-6 written all over it. Then DRF, Desiree Reed Francois, will drink and get her guy in, book it. That's from the Pig Brown Lemming. Wow, that is a nice callback to the 2007.
I love Desiree. I love what she is doing. Like, look at how much she backs Gates. I don't think she is a fan of drinks, or I hope she's able to hire who she wants to hire at that position, especially in the SEC.
Well, she absolutely has credibility. She just was extended.
She is amazing.
There's extensions in college sports all the time, but yeah, she has equity, and she has equity with a fan base. And I think that was
fantastic.
a part of the fan base wasn't necessarily on board with her hire initially, and after seeing material changes, not just with the hiring of Gates, but I think with efforts at Faroe Field, I think she has the equity that people would be on board with whatever direction that she decides to go. Your thoughts are welcome, 314-881-TMA5. Iggy, you have let people know, for those just joining us, that Jeremy Piven has canceled his shows in St. Louis, and therefore he will not be in studio with us in this upcoming segment, as was initially the plan.
Yeah, and I just saw on his, well, it was yesterday, so it could have been yesterday morning, could have been yesterday afternoon, I don't know. But he actually went out of his way and put on his Instagram, St. Louis, looking forward to seeing you this week, and it's been too long. So it's not something that just been happening for 3 or 4 days. I may go, as of yesterday, he was promoting the hell out of it, so I don't know. Hope all is well.
Look, I don't think the chances are high that Wingo comes to Mizzou, but it's so asinine to claim Drink doesn't or can't recruit the region. He's literally only good at that one thing. And Marsh is 100% right on. NIL, the biggest cults of personality in college football history, cannot overcome a 7-figure check from an NIL collective to an 18-year-old kid. That's from Kevin's brother, Jack Demoff. And then you go, well, who has the 7 figures? And usually it's going to be those blue blood programs.
Yeah.
Plowhawk, that was directed, I guess.
Okay, so I'm scrolling. Haven't found Missouri in the recruiting rankings yet, but I have found Duke, Vanderbilt, UCF, USF, Rutgers, Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. All are recruiting better than Missouri. Missouri is not in the top 50 in recruiting, so I have to actually hit load more to find the recruiting rankings.
That's not a good sign.
And there they are. Let's check out the recruiting. We have one guy from New England, a 2-star from Joplin, and a 3-star from Washington, Missouri. That is the current 2024 class. Awesome. You know, you did get that one from New England. And it's all 3-star from the area. I mean, it's
He's
2
recruiting from the
stars
area.
From the area. Like, okay, if you want to say that's from the area, yeah, then go to Festus High or whatever the hell people in Festus go to their high school. Like, if you're, we're talking like actual recruits that are on like an actual database in the top 150, top 200. And there have been, since Drake has been here, 15, 20, 25 of those guys, and he grabbed Luther Burden. That's great. But, I mean, overall, you're talking 2-3%.
We got to wrap up the 7 o'clock hour. It's presented by Munganass, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota. StLouisAcura.com and AltonToyota.com. 314-252-0029 is the secret number. It's Munganass. Work with Jamie Burkhardt, Clayton Patterson, and Peter Munganass. And they have a great selection right now of pre-owned vehicles. So if you are looking for Munganass new car selection or pre-owned selection, just go online at StLouisAcura.com or AltonToyota.com and work with the best, and the best is Munganass, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota. And we also recommend that you work with Andrea's and get their barbecue sauce. Here it is. It's in the studio. Here, if you're watching on YouTube.
So fire.
So good.
A couple hundred people are, but for you 200 who are, YouTube.com. Oh, so you've had it.
No, I said it looks good.
Oh, it is so
We'll take that bottle
Yeah,
home.
take that home.
You want me to take it
here you
home?
go.
Oh, hell
You
yeah.
will love
Yeah,
it.
dude, you're gonna
Look at that.
freaking love
I mean,
it.
listen, they brought some in, and I'm just like, okay, it's great that they have a barbecue sauce.
Oh, yeah, this looks
You know, Andrea's usually is promoting their steakhouse. They have a Kentucky Derby party coming up on Derby Day, and of course that steak sauce, which is phenomenal. But I tried the barbecue sauce because Max and Rebecca brought some in, and then my wife did. And we go, oh my God, I don't know what they got in it, but it is so good. I have this boring chicken dinner probably 3 times it's shredded chicken from my good friends at Metabolic Meals. Been eating their food since 2010. And I put a little of that barbecue sauce on the side, and
made
what it
all the
does. I don't know
difference.
what, it's so good. What
You know what I
do you
put-
think's in there?
I don't know. I don't want to ask. I don't
secret
want to. I
sauce.
don't want to.
Yeah.
I put some in my chili last night.
Oh, how'd it treat you? That's
It
an
was
interesting move.
tremendous. Just a little bit in there gives it a nice little flavor. I mean, I'd make pretty good chili anyway, but I said, I'm going to put some of that barbecue sauce in there.
Interesting play.
It was good.
Interesting play.
I'm always looking for new things I'm always, dabbling in different. I'm going to try a little tarragon on this tonight, see what that. So I'm always tinkering with things. But I put some in last night. It was good.
Andreas.com/menu is where you can check out the menu for the steakhouse. Andreas.com is where you can get the barbecue sauce, the steak sauce, and it's also available at Schnucks and Deerberg's. It is Andrea's a wonderful sponsor of TMA. Appliance Discounters 8 o'clock hour is coming your way next. This is the Ryan Kelly Morning After from the Michelob Ultra Studios.
For more than
7
years, the
Totem
tournament has been a rite of spring. The azaleas and dogwoods waking the golfing world from its winter slumber.
So, the Dotem's back May 18th and 19th at Normandy Golf Club. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Get your foursome together. That's still funny. And join Tim, Iggy, Doug, Jackson, and Plowsy for a day out on the course. Hey, so Friday's sold out now. Few teams remain for Thursday. Get them while you can, with a portion of the proceeds benefiting Birdies for Bipolar. Your ticket gets you in on all the debauchery, including your Mick Ultra beer, breakfast from Donut Drive-In, lunch from Rockstar Tacos, and a kick-ass after party with smash burgers from Rockstar Tacos. The return of the 7th annual TMA Dotem Golf Tournament, brought to you by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota. Better than ever for you, their customer, and Family Golf and Learning Center. Learn, practice, and play your best golf. Visit FamilyGolfOnline.com. Get all the Dotem info now at TMASTL.com. Thank you. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan. I'm with a great sponsor of TMA, and that's Longo Biggs of the Longo Biggs Injury Law Firm. People are starting to head out now. It is summertime, but that means an increase in car accidents.
Hey, guys. Like Tim just said, summer is finally here, and that means there's more people on the roadways. And you might be going to a Cardinals game, or maybe you're headed home from taking your buddy's money on the golf course. But with increased traffic on the roads, it also means a higher likelihood for car accidents. If you get in an accident, contact our firm immediately. We've successfully handled a countless number of car, motorcycle, and truck accidents. And if you go to our website, you will see we have received awards for doing so. We will make the process easy for you while maximizing the compensation you receive. Go to our website or Google Longo Biggs Injury Law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement.
Biggie's Restaurant and Bar has been a staple of the community for over 30 years and is serving your favorites like the steak sandwich, waffle fries, and so much more. It's not just the food that's rocking. With a full bar and patio, Biggie's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, and a little laughter. Biggie's original hours are back. Open 11 a.m. till midnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 11 a.m. till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Check out the full menu at biggiesrestaurant.com and stop in today.
Hey, it's Jackson from Mark Hanna. TMA listeners have a lot to think through financially. Saving for retirement and college while also paying bills and enjoying life along the way. Whether you're like me and starting your financial planning, or if you're already retired, call Mark Hanna. Mark works with you to design a strategy to do your finances right. It's a straightforward approach that starts with a 15-minute phone call to discuss your needs. Visit evergreenstl.com or give Mark a call at 314-889-0503 today. Mark Hanna offers securities through Equitable Advisors and insurance and annuity products through Equitable Network, LLC.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan with Doug Vaughn to tell you about a new TMA sponsor, and that sponsor is Green Envy, a locally owned and operated company that can take great care of your lawn this spring. They've been in business, Doug, in St. Louis for over a decade.
Well, they know the conditions that exist here in Missouri. It's hard to have a perfect lawn in Missouri. It gets really cold, it gets really hot, it gets really wet, and really dry. If you don't have people that know what the conditions are like in Missouri, you're going to have trouble. But Green Envy, these people have got it figured out, I tell you.
Yeah, they really do. They treated my lawn earlier this month, and they can do the exact same thing for you. And Green Envy is a company that both Doug and I are using to make sure that our lawns look absolutely spectacular this coming spring and summer. You can work with Green Envy as well. 636-757-1600. That's 636-757-1600. Green Envy. Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here right now with James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. I made the switch to start working with you, James, 3-4 years ago now, and I could not be happier that I did. And when I made the switch, I started saving money, and the best part was your staff at your agency in Webster Grove did all the paperwork for me. It couldn't have been easier to make that switch to start saving money.
Well, I appreciate that, Tim, and we appreciate your business. Yeah, this is the time to save money. My goodness, we're all feeling it at the grocery store, at the gas pump, et cetera. I mean, inflation is rearing its head, and we're trying to get it under control, and that's being felt by the insurance companies as well. So if you've noticed that your insurance rate has gone up, I want to stress how easy it is to get a proposal from us by going online at carltoninsurance.net or giving us a call, and we'll be very quick and efficient and respectful of your time. 314-961-4800.
I can speak to it firsthand. It's an easy process. They really do all the paperwork for you, and you start saving money. With James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency online at carltoninsurance.net.
Urban Dictionary defines thirsty as purposely, knowingly, and recklessly attempting to gain fame to boost self-esteem. So, are you thirsty? Well, TMA has you covered. Become a part of the 2023 TMA Listener of the Month Club. You nominate yourself for a monthly award. And if you win, you get recognition and stuff to help you satisfy that insatiable thirst. We're talking January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, etc. Go to TMASTL.com or the TMA app. Give us your name, a photo, and other pertinent information. Tell us why you deserve to be TMA Listener of the Month. And if you don't want to use your real name or photo, we don't really care. The TMA Listener of the Month. Get recognized just for being you or fake you or whatever. Quenched by Milagro Tequila. Welcome to the brighter side of tequila with Milagro in the morning after on KPNT HD2. Come back. Now, back to the Ryan Kelly morning after on KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis.
Welcome back. It's Ryan Kelly, morning after appliance discounters, 8 o'clock hour here on the program. Tim McKernan, the Plowhawk, Marshy Marsh and the Playful Posse in for the vacationing Douglas Elvin Vaughn, and Action Jackson. KG in O-Town is in the Horton Watkins studios. Ken Strode is out on assignment here at the moment. Appliance discounters. If you're in the market for an appliance, look no further than appliance discounters and their 80,000 square foot warehouse full of GE appliances and other major brands ready for delivery. Shop online at theappliancediscounters.com, where pricing has been adjusted to beat everybody in the competition. I got a dishwasher from there this year. Doug's gotten all of his appliances from the Appliance Discounters. Work with John Bradley, Denise Bradley. If you'd like an introduction, I'll be happy to make it. T. McKernan at InsideSTL.com. By the way, giving up my email address reminds me, Marshall Rice, head engineer here at Hubbard Radio St. Louis, after I contacted him and forwarded him some of the emails that the listeners were sending in saying that the audio levels were low, he came in and he checked it, Plowhawk, and he said that something went awry when we went from the old studio to our new closet, and he has fixed it. So, for those of you who listen on YouTube, it should be fixed. It doesn't sound, so 100%. It sounds better to you?
Sounds better.
So I can't notice a sound difference. I thought it was the levels when people play it back. Like people are playing back, comparing and contrasting. I think they would put the Riz Show on 20 on their volume, but they had to turn us up to 70. And then some people were sending in clips to compare and contrast, and I just forwarded that to Tommy Mattern and Marshall. And Marshall came in yesterday, he emailed me and said the levels were messed up, and he fixed them. So for those of you, I have the YouTube chat open right now if anybody can speak to it. What is YouTube? YouTube's coming to 101, isn't it? I thought.
I think 101 has a YouTube page. Is that what you're
No, I'm
saying?
talking about like we'll be live on YouTube
yes.
on 101.
Yeah, we're going to have the cameras.
You're right.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I don't know when,
that
though.
Will be...
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
that chat'll be tough.
Fun breaks for sure. Man, I do a lot of laughing in those breaks. Like, our show's super fun, and I have a great time. Ton of jokes, ton of laughs. But the good stuff comes in between the breaks.
Oh, that's what we do. That's our
Like,
line.
we'll come back just laughing. And I always, like, if I was a listener, I'd be wondering, like, what are they laughing about? What could they possibly be talking about? And most of the time, it's from, like, what the listeners text in.
Yeah.
The listeners are hilarious. They make jokes like 10 times funnier.
Oh, yeah. I can relate to that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I noticed it was low last week also. It sounds good now. The audio is fine on YouTube. That's from Scott L. Hey, there's Sack. He's in the YouTube.
Oh, I love Sack.
Audio sounds good on YouTube, but I haven't listened on YouTube since you guys moved to the new studio. That is from Sack. Stepdad Gary just texted in. YouTuber definitely had to turn it up a little over the last couple of weeks, but didn't think much of it. Seems totally back to normal. That's from Hunchback of Vaughan Castle. So it sounds like it has improved. So that is good news. Tim, will you please address your threesome story that you told on QFTA? I would like a breakdown from the Plowhawk and Iggy in response. Marcia, are you in the midst of what did you send in? Oh, you had the boob job thing.
I had the boob job.
What's going on with that? Anything new on that, or is that gone dark?
Are you talking about
you were asked, but you found out it was a group Snapchat? Yeah.
Yo, for sure.
It's gone.
For sure.
She's gone.
I still Snapchat with said person, but like that conversation has never came up again, like ever.
So
actually went zero dark 30 there for a little bit.
And you didn't know what was going on. You thought you gave the wrong answer.
No, not with her, but just like all together. Just kind of cut off communication for like a solid 2 weeks, just with everybody.
So what is your current
on
situation?
That side of the gender spectrum. Current situation? We're just
Gender
hanging out.
spectrum.
We're just hanging out. Yeah.
What about lasses in general? Do you have a special friend, as Plowhawk likes to say? Do you have a special friend?
I mean, not really at the moment. You know, there's a few that are, you know, that I like. You know, I'm a very charismatic person. I like talking with multiple people. You know, just talking.
This is your
just
polite
talking.
way of saying you're a man whore, but you didn't
Never
want to say
said
you're a
that.
man whore.
But I said I went zero dark 30 though for a little bit just to kind of reset.
You needed a reset.
The NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs are going. Cardinals baseball is up and running right now. Like
That's
I
a
need
fun
some
sport.
me time right now. I don't have time for all this stuff, all this nonsense.
I'm a play, baby. I get any girl I want.
Right. What about that? Our program has a door that you can hear when we open and close because we are now in a closet.
This is my first time in the studio.
Yeah.
At least like on the program.
We don't know what that door does. We think it leads to some other world.
It won't
Stairway
open.
to hell or something.
When you get fired,
And then we
that's
got
where
this
they.
door.
I tried to open it. It won't open.
That door over there?
Yeah, I thought maybe it was a cuck studio, but I did something on my way back I haven't done yet. I walked into the other studio.
I walked into the bathroom.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, what was going on in there?
And I said, wait a minute. This is the first time I've done this. I just walked in the other studio.
Anything doing? How's it look? I haven't been in there in a couple weeks.
It's dark. I go in there every once in a while and grab stuff to put in here.
But a board isn't in there anymore, so even if we wanted to record
Can't
stuff.
edit. Yeah, and the Adobe software as well. All the Adobe machines that can record. I think there still is the board, but you can't record anything. So
Plowsy, if they're making that a podcast studio, would they have to put in a new board?
yeah, they'll have to put in the new Adobe software with some new.
But I mean, that board wouldn't have worked for a podcast.
It wouldn't right now because you can't. It won't go anywhere. It can't even hit to an Adobe machine. So it kind of would just be you talking.
The story that I told on QFTA, this was, I don't even know how it came up. Oh, because that Cuck Knobloch guy sent in his defense of his threesome. And I told a story that for whatever reason I hadn't thought of in a long time, in which a lass I was seeing had found a girl that she liked. I think she was working with her. And I was doing television at the time, so this is going back a while. And they had decided they wanted to engage in the less popular MFF.
It seems you had a lot of bi-curious girlfriends.
Well, it might be a trait that I look for.
Yeah. Maybe that's a question you ask.
It's a chicken and egg situation.
Hey, we've been dating a week. Are you bisexual?
So I hadn't even thought about the story, and I don't know why this email from Cuck Knobloch triggered it, but they show up at the TV station, and I hadn't met the girl, and I just was not attracted to her. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can't, you know.
But still, when I look back on it, and then I was like, and then not only did then I kill the less popular, but then I was like a bitch about it. Now, and I was 22 or 3, you know, so this is, you know, going back 2 decades here. But me at this point in my life, if, for example, Anna Marie goes, hey, I got somebody I want to hook up with, and we'll pick you up at Hubbard, I couldn't care what that last looked like. I mean, it would be just, It
happened to me in college once. Like similar thing.
So your girlfriend wanted the...
No, it wasn't a girlfriend.
Gentleman.
No, it was
Nice.
It was just a girl that had, I guess, like a crush on me and whatnot.
Okay.
And had her friend.
So what was going on? They wanted to have a threesome?
Yeah, but like the other one, like I was just absolutely not attracted to, and so I was at the gym.
I heard Jennings.
As Mo would say, not great. And
so this is your girlfriend, or this is just a girl you're hooking
just a
up?
girl
Okay.
no, I hadn't even hooked up with the other girl. Like it was just a girl that had like a crush on me.
Got it.
I guess we'd been exchanging text messages back and forth, and it was just one of those like, hey, like we want to do this. And they had been out drinking, and I had been out at the gym working out. So I'm like, I ain't touching that. I ain't like
that.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not getting into that whole hairy situation. And like,
they were unshaven?
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't find out. But like, it was just one of those things where I was like, I'm just not.
But what was your reason?
I didn't find the friend attractive.
Got it. See, that's where I was too. But I look back on it now.
Well, I look back now and I'm
you
like,
go, yeah, why didn't that? That's what
college.
Okay, yeah, why not?
When you're younger,
well,
you kind of, oh, I don't care. But when you're older, say, yeah, we're a threesome. Let's do it. I don't care.
Well, I mean, people talk and whatnot. I think at the time I was just like, I don't know if I want people talking about this. About,
Is that right? Really? That's a negative thing?
Well, back in the,
I think you want people to talk about it, man. That dude.
Well,
this guy,
wow,
the ladies want him at the same time. That's what they would say.
Well,
Lindenwood.
I think, if I was like, hey, by the way, these two people, they asked for this. These two girls asked for this. I feel like that would be more of a compliment to it than me doing it and all the buddies being like, oh, wow, you were hanging, or you were hooking up with that girl or whatever.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying?
So you were analyzing, and the downside outweighed the upside. It's interesting.
At the time, like, as a young college student, sometimes those thoughts go through your head, and at the time, that was going through my head, and I was just like, I'm not really, I wasn't in the mood for it.
This is going to really disappoint the audience here. I don't know what happened. Scott's Wrinkled Ballsack just wrote, Tim, I listened to the QFTA, and I need a comp for the gal that you turned down for the threesome back in Arkansas. The thing that was tough, I think, while I was, because again, I hadn't thought about it in so long, for real. I mean, you're talking about 20 years, that I remembered her name, and I think I found her, and she wasn't. What Jackson theorized, and I think he was right on target, because they picked me up at the television station, and I just anchored the 10 o'clock sportscast, and I think I was probably in a bad mindset for whatever reason, but still, I mean, I look back at that and I go, why wouldn't I, even if I wasn't? And then we went to this bar that this got Jackson going. It'll get nobody else going, but that Derek Fisher would always be at. He was a Little Rock guy, and and we were hanging out, and I was just like bitchy about it. It's like, and I look back and I go, why wouldn't I just? Who cares? Like, so she's not, whatever. Like, number one, who am I to be saying no to anybody? Number two, why not just? I just look back and I go, who is that guy, and why was he turning down threesomes?
See, I don't.
And I'm very disappointed in myself.
You grow as a person.
Yeah, I've evolved to now want threesomes all the time.
See, I don't agree with that.
Really?
Yeah, because, all right, even if you want to participate, and why? Because I could have watched them. I mean, if you want to watch lesbian porn, would you find one with a good-looking girl and a not-so-good-looking girl? Would you watch that?
I'd find Ella Reese, Marsha, that I showed you.
Yeah, but what if she was with like a BBW? Would you watch it?
Yeah, she's absolutely in that category. If it were, I see what you're saying. No.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but that's watching Stag. This is actually happening.
Yeah,
I can watch
still.
Stag at any moment. The threesomes, that's like Halley's Comet.
That'd be like, I'm going to, just because I want to do a threesome. If it doesn't turn you on,
they were the ones who wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And that's not to say the friend wanted me. I have no idea. That wasn't I didn't care about that. I was interested in.
But is it really
sapphic
then
play.
a threesome if you two aren't participating?
I don't know. I would say yeah. I would say yeah. Iggy's the judge and jury on this.
Okay, well, it is, but does it does it feel like one for you?
It depends. I mean, the ones I've been involved with, the husband watches.
And films, Iggy.
And that's his kink, because he enjoys watching, and the woman gets off knowing her husband's watching. So it's a threesome, but he's not participating.
Iggy scolds the gentleman while he's doing it, and that is a cock situation.
Well, I didn't scold him. He tried to direct me, and I said, "Easy, Spielberg. I'll take care of it. I don't need you to tell me what to do."
Steven Spielberg? I have never.
Well, when you're going to direct me, I don't need you to tell me what to do, buddy.
Are they doing horizontal cam or vertical cam? Because I know these days, you got to do the vertical.
No, he wasn't.
This might have been with an actual 3/4 deck going back to when it was taking place.
He was sitting at the edge of the bed.
He had one of those that you.
Yeah, it was a talkie.
No, the only person ever filmed was Merle. And
that, of course, being the husband of adult star Terry Weigel, who I believe could be your great-grandmother, Marsh.
Filming naked for some reason. He wasn't participating, but he was just naked.
He was
filming.
just naked, so he had a bulky older gentleman filming you with his wife.
And I knew what he was doing, because the whole thing was she wanted to film it for this DVD, or back then I guess it was VHS.
It went straight to DVD.
That she was putting out about her exploits on the road stripping. In every city, she was going to try to find somebody.
And you were that lucky guy.
Yeah, well, she asked me, she said, "Do you want to do this?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." But I knew he was going to film it.
AGGA hat? AJ?
No, I don't
think Iggy wears that to be
like a hat.
I'll get to the chase. How many F-buddies do you have on the bench? That's from Hunchback of Von Castle. Well, it can't be directed at me or the Plowhawk. I assume it's directed at
it's got to be
Marshy
Marsh
and his
yeah.
Playful Posse.
What was the question?
How many F-buddies do you have on the bench?
How many ponies in the paddock?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to say a specific number.
Wow. But there is a number.
Too many to count.
It's an ever-growing organization. It's like the NHL in the early 90s.
Hey, you know what?
You got a long reliever in there, or just a bunch of...
Like I said, hey, we went 0 dark 30. We're going to soft reset. And, we're just enjoying some playoff some playoff hockey, some playoff basketball.
You were probably over the Leafs and Lightning last night.
I was watching it. Yeah.
Patty Maroon was messing around with O'Reilly.
He was. He was getting in his glove and using his twig to mess around with O'Reilly there. But some good stuff on the playoff front.
I have a few, but I think it's probably.
Really? What do you have?
Oh, I've always said that I have a few girls I know that we can just go out and have dinner and have a great time, and so the other girls I know I can just have sex with.
And what kind of numbers are we talking about here?
Yeah, 3 or 4. But
3 or 4 in each category, or 3?
I probably have more girls I know that I can just go out and have fun with. Let's go have a drink or let's go have dinner.
But that would not be sex.
No.
Okay.
So I'm almost kind of not scared to share these things. But did I tell you the story about the first time I went on, we were talking about the mom and the older lady, and there had been one girl in particular that I had been talking to, and when I went on the show. There was some social media stuff posted, and I had hung out with her like the following day or so, and she was like, "Oh, this might be embarrassing," but I actually went back and watched the show on YouTube that you were on.
Once again, speaking to our huge female audience.
And she goes, "You hooked up with a 40-year-old?" And I was like, "Oh my God. You watched that?"
That's what I was.
So now I'm like, I don't know
so
what
the whole
I can
time
share on
I
this
was aware of this because Marcia told me this had happened. So the whole time while I was asking him these questions,
baiting me into it.
I'm like, I wonder if he's going to answer a little more carefully after the last time you were on the show.
Yeah.
And it turns out some of your friends, so to speak, have been listening and watching
I don't
you
know
on the show.
Who's watching or listening today, but screw it. Who
I
cares?
just have a wife I've been with for 15 years that listens to the show and has to just love these stories that I tell.
Do you ever talk about this on the fast lane?
This stuff? I can't say we do. At least during the show.
I can see Jamie Rivers.
I do a completely different show from 10 to 11.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
for
I just do a
sure.
completely different show from 10 to 11.
Jamie Rivers never asked you how many.
Oh, Jamie Rivers
how many you got in the stable?
Certainly has, just not while the microphones were on.
No, the microphones, those blue buttons are never on when discussions like that come about.
Guys, is Iggy talking about women he can take to Jackal concerts at the pool hall? That's from Wolf Boy.
Yeah. That would be it. Now these girls are in a stable that I know would have sex. I don't know if they will anymore because I've said that I'm not doing any work.
They've been put out to
He's made that announcement. If you'd like to make any announcements, please feel free. Iggy has let it be known that he will allow them to hop on top, but he will not be moving. And that is a hell of a classified ad.
And they have to come over.
Yeah.
So you're not a giver. You're a
well,
receiver.
I've given my whole life. It's time now just to relax.
Yeah.
You know, now the foreplay, I'll participate.
For sure.
I'll give
I feel
you
like
good
that's
foreplay.
where I'm at in life right now.
I'll give you some good foreplay, but once we get into sex,
This
I'm
is
just
like
on my back.
an award-winning racehorse that finally gets to be put out the stud, just laying down and bringing him in.
He's like Carlos. He's like Carlos Beltran, just producing his whole career, and then at the end has to get on a cheating Houston Astros team to get a World Series.
Iggy is absolutely reeling right now that Marsh has just interrupted his story about how he has two 75-year-olds he can bang at any time, but apparently hasn't done anything since Gobble Bowl 2017. That's from Mr. Licks.
No, I'm pretty sure that I interrupt Marshy Marsh.
What's the Gobble Bowl?
Oh!
What?
Gobble Bowl is Iggy's big event happening right around the Thanksgiving holiday.
Okay.
And he works all year long on it. He really does. He truly does. And it goes to benefit the Megan Meyer Foundation, which is an anti-bullying charity.
Okay.
And it sells out every year, I feel like. Iggy, am I correct? Did I describe it properly? It happens at Cave Springs Lanes.
Yeah,
right? Am I right on all this?
Yeah, once I put out the email to the people that bowled the year before, give them first shot, it's pretty much sold out.
There you go, right of first refusal.
Yeah, everyone. I hold 2 teams back. You know, for like staff last year. Fortunate enough that the Riz show put a team together. They came out, Learn came out. So I hold a few teams back in case, you know, people from Hubbard want to bowl. I let them have a couple teams.
I love that. I had to ask because we were talking about sex and Gobble Bowl.
Oh, it fits right into
in the
Gobble Bowl,
same sentence. So I just had to ask.
In fairness, he did say the last time he had sex was after a Gobble Bowl.
Yes.
That was, I guess, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's not true now because I had sex after Samantha Fish.
Nice.
But up until then, the last time I had sex was... Yes, Samantha Fish will just turn every girl on.
Is that right? Really? It's an aphrodisiac?
No. Well, I took a girl I knew I was going to have sex with, so we went to the show. But yeah, up until that time, the last time I had sex was after Gobble Bowl. I guess it's just people went back and, you know, had a few drinks at Gobble Bowl, came back, had dinner, and there you go. Let's celebrate a good afternoon by banging.
By banging. And did you just lay there?
No, that's back when I was still working.
Oh, I see. Yeah. How much does he masturbate, and what category of porn does he watch? I'm going 3 times a week, and he's into lesbian porn. Steve in Wildwood. Chairman Steve, I apologize, in Wildwood. Is there any particular genre that really gets you... My go-to is absolutely sapphic.
Well, how do we know that question was to me?
Chairman Steve, you're welcome to call in 6-3. That's the
Is
gentleman.
that Stephen Wildwood?
The one, he
Love that
now,
guy.
in honor of Chairman Ridley
He's
at Augusta, he
chairman?
wants to be Chairman Steve.
Wow.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Steve, if you were talking about me or asking me that question, I've never woken up in the middle of the night and jerked it like you have.
Chairman Steve.
Yes, I've never.
Well, that's quite the statement.
Well, who wakes up in the middle of the night? Oh, I can't sleep. I'll jerk. No.
It's actually, like, I
Chairman
feel like it
Steve.
helps, does it not?
We would, for sure.
Chairman Steve says that it is something that he does about 3 to 4 times a week in the middle of the night.
Said he woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Well, as long as it's out, I might as well take care of it.
I think that I am in the minority on gentlemen in the age range of, let's say, I don't know, like our demographics, 25 to 54, whose preference is the girl stag. I think that most guys don't go that route, but that has been my thing. I don't really know why. I kind of thought everybody felt that way, but I think I am in the minority on that. Plowhawk, where do you? I got you mid-strawberry bite, and I hate to do it. I hate to do it.
Repeat the question.
Do you enjoy the girl stag? Or
Nah.
do you, that's not your thing. See, that's what I'm
Not my
saying.
thing. I mean, I'm not saying I want a shaft in there, but you always want to visualize, you know, what it would be like if I was in there.
For sure. That's why I always go POV.
You're a POV guy. Boy, I'm not a
100%.
POV guy at all.
You got to put yourself in the shoes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I'm an
Interesting.
amateur guy. It's
See what I'm
not,
saying?
when
Everybody's
I'm
got their
talking
thing.
about
You're
like
an iPhone 8 guy on Snapchat.
that's
kinda
what I'm
guy?
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I like seeing like a vacuum cleaner in the background,
Is
or
that
like
right? That's-
kids'
that's your
toys
kink. We
in a
don't kink kids'
basket in the
toys.
corner instead of like this porn
Yeah, they don't
set.
set
like,
that up.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a JOI guy because I love the dirty talk.
Well, isn't that kind of like a submissive thing?
No.
Really?
No, they're just extreme.
could've
Well,
sworn
I don't need instructions, but they get dirty. They, you know, it's dirty talk. Now, what I've been doing lately is, and I was so excited yesterday, because I follow these girls on Instagram.
Right.
And Instagram, you can't do any nudity, but they're beautiful with big breast, and I said they got to have an OnlyFans. So I'll go search. I'll find her, whatever her name is on Instagram, and I'll type that into Google. Blah blah blah. OnlyFans leaked, and some of them have. This is girl that I follow. Her name is is it Carly.
Wow.
No, I can't think of her name now. Harley. Harley Geek Girl.
Okay.
And on her Instagram, she's always like in a bikini or something like that, and she just boasts that she wants older men. Guys, would you be mad if you came over and I was wearing this and I just made you dinner and I wanted to cuddle with you? Would you be mad? Is that what you want? I love older men. She just teases older men, and she's got a fabulous body, and she looks kind of geekish. But I said she's got to be on OnlyFans, and I would put in Harley Geek Girl, and nothing came up. But then I did a little digging on a couple other her Twitter account where she's got find me at, and it wasn't an OnlyFans account. It was just something at IE / Holly X West. So I did that search, and a bunch of OnlyFans, and she's having sex in these things.
Oh, wow.
So I was excited that I actually found her. I just want to see her naked, and I found sex videos of her. So it was a big day for me
It's a
yesterday.
2-for-1.
That research you just did is like what the FBI does.
Yeah, that was absolute commitment.
I did
You were not
some.
stopping until you saw a naked photo of Harley Nerd Girl.
I found her, though.
I did some research. I had matched with a girl on one of the dating apps.
Oh, I bet that.
Stag Starlet?
No, it was Bumble. It was the Bumble app. I actually might have told you this story a while ago, but it was this girl, and immediately I go, there's no way this girl's from St. Louis. There's no way. I'm like, totally fake. It's got to be a fake account. But I matched with her, and on Bumble, they can message first. So this person, we match, and this girl said hi or hey, like what's or hey babe. I think that's what it was.
Hey babe.
And
Isn't that suspicious? Isn't that suspicious?
Who says hey babe?
Okay,
these
all right.
days?
I didn't know if that was standard greeting on the dating app.
So already 2 strikes. I'm like, this person's so fake. And normally I would just be like, like I'm not even gonna touch it. Like I'll just move on, whatever. But for some reason I was just in the mood. I'm like, I'm gonna do a little bit of I'm gonna do a little Iggy research here.
Nice.
I'm gonna type the, actually I couldn't type the name in because I think the name was like Chantel or something. And I'm like, this just isn't adding up. And so I cropped the picture. I took a screenshot of the picture, and I went and did like a reverse look up on Google, or I found some website where you can take photos and then they'll show the photos on Google.
I'm proud of you,
and
buddy.
where
That's
from.
That's going to the next level.
And so I found it. I found the actual girl. I found her actual Instagram. She had like 90,000 followers.
Oh, wow.
Completely different name. From Florida. Lives in Florida. Most recent post was at like a bar in Florida. Just this person just completely.
So it was a catfish.
It was a catfish.
Yeah.
So I took a screenshot and I sent it to the person, thinking that they would just block me or actually unmatch with me. And the person replied and said, "And?" question mark. I'm like, you're doubling down right now? Like, what are you doing? So I then proceeded to follow the actual girl and then DM her saying, hey, by the way, someone's catfishing you, hoping that maybe she'd be like, oh, thank you. Like, that was really sweet of you.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever. That clearly didn't work out. As we know, some people don't respond to DMs. And that was my story about looking up the catfish. I felt really proud of myself because I actually went the extra mile.
Hey, babe, I would think is a tell right away.
100%.
Okay,
And
it is.
especially when there's like mispronunciation and misspelling, and if the third or fourth conversation is money, hey, I don't have any money.
Yeah.
That's
the old Tinder swindler.
Gotta pull that ripcord.
I'm like, listen, I don't have that much money either, so.
Yeah, can we get
we're
on
in the
that
same boat right now?
Want to get on that game together?
Yeah, exactly.
The one I've had no success with, and I've been searching forever. I mean, Swope found me one video of her, but she went by Farmin' Brit.
Oh, God, I remember.
Farmin' Brit.
And she did. She started out. She started out doing ASMR videos. That's why I enjoyed it. But she would like be cleaning the mirror, but she'd have on like a negligee. She'd be washing her truck or windows, and then her top will get wet. And then she went into cooking Brit, and then she went into digging Brit, where she's just digging up stuff on the farm. And
naked.
but she had a Patreon, and I'm trying to find these old Farm and Brit Patreons, and they're nowhere to be found. Even people that belong to that site and paid for it would have them. But I've searched for months, and I think Swope came up with one where she was mopping the floor and she showed her boob, but that's about it.
Just so you know, Iggy, the response to your story from a couple of minutes ago is being considered perhaps the creepiest thing that has ever been said on the show.
What, Harley Geek Girl?
Randy Character says in the EDF group text inbox, by far the creepiest S ever in this show's history, and that is saying something.
Searching Harley Geek Girl to see if she was ever gotten naked?
That's from Randy Character.
I think that's where
Randy Acorn.
Is the name Character like a
see it in there?
Well, that's what I call him.
Randy Acorns. Wow. mega creep. Just the 618 says doesn't lift a finger for work, but goes to 4th level DGen to find sex scenes on the internet. Jesus. That's from the 618.
That is so good.
Conclusion, the stripper says, just think if you took this kind of work ethic into your actual job. That's from Conclusion, the stripper.
Well, if my job pertained to I got to go find something, I will, but I don't know why that's creepy. I mean, if you find a girl attractive, wouldn't you want to see her naked if it's out there?
I didn't find it creepy. I found it mind-blowing, the effort and initiative.
What effort is it? I sit at my computer and do some typing. That's
I figured after the first name didn't work,
I don't have to get off my
that's when you
ass.
give up. But not the Iggy tactic and the dig deeper. And I like that.
Erin, who has her nipples pierced, is in the YouTube chat. And she says, how are the three of you not incredibly uncomfortable right now?
I don't know why.
We have good poker faces. What can we say?
I don't know if I could be surprised by anything anymore, honestly.
I don't think I was that
There's
big of a
Harley
creep.
Geek Girl.
Okay. I mean, what?
Well, she doesn't get naked, but I found her naked. This is Instagram, so you're not going to find that. But I did some digging because I want to see that.
See, when I don't follow
Double down.
I don't follow
I'm for
women
it.
like that on Instagram. Like I don't see the point.
I don't follow a lot of them. They pop up, then I start following them.
Well, yeah. I would love to know what your search page looks like.
I don't search for anything.
It's the algorithm that ends up like
Yeah,
if you're
'cause-
constantly looking at photos like that and videos, like
I guess
it'll pop up.
Yeah, because there's this one. I say I love this guy called Gilstrap TV, and he just
Gilstrap TV,
and he just walks around places with a fake fart thing in his pocket, and he just farts. And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I don't remember ever following this guy, but he pops up all the time.
Well, that's how my search is. It's it's girls in bikinis, Spider-Man, Star Wars, sports, and Theo Vaughn.
Theo Vaughn.
He's always on my search page. That guy's hilarious.
Yeah, maybe there's this. It's not one girl, but it's called Tokabis. It's just a bunch of different girls in bikinis and thongs and posing. I guess because I follow that, then now all these girls pop up on my Instagram.
When my mom does simple things like washing my hair or washing my body, it makes me feel comforted.
Is that a guy or a girl?
It's definitely a female. I remember the video version of that.
That's where Speak to Me comes from. Guys, you have all been around this pervert for so long that you're numb to just how creepy his behavior is at this point.
I don't know why it's creepy.
Arbor Day, who from my standpoint is live for the Milagro Tequila listener.
I don't know why it's creepy. I really don't.
The little Dutch boy says, yeah, Marsh, I'm sure the FBI would like to see Iggy's search history, too. That's from the little Dutch boy.
No, I can't. I don't even know what the dark web is. I don't go into the dark web finding things. I just type things in Google. Like our girl who joined us on the show, Princess Adbot, Princess Fierce.
Hello, Vivian.
I mean, she never got naked. She would do stuff, but she always had like a bikini on or something and never got naked. And I did a search for her one time. It said Princess Fierce, old school nudity or something. And before she got into this, she had this boyfriend that always wore a cowboy hat when he was having sex.
Wonderful.
And I found 5 or 6 videos of her and this guy doing porn. I said, great, I found it. Nothing wrong with that.
Did you send a message to anyone saying, great, I found it?
Yeah, I was excited that I found Princess Adbot naked. A lot of these girls on their Instagram, whatever, they're not naked. Yeah. And then you find it, and you're excited that you actually got find her naked.
The guy that found the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, I mean, this is the
Are you
mission
people?
every day.
You people calling me creep? Why don't you go to Instagram and just type in Harley Geek Girl, and girl is GURL, and look at her and say, God, I wouldn't mind seeing her naked. And then go find her, and I did.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, the text we're getting is...
I don't know why. My God.
Chairman Steve says, not knowing it's creepy is part of the problem. That's from Chairman Steve, and he's the one who got the whole discussion going.
Yeah, well, let me ask you something. Jennifer Love Hewitt. Every time Mr.
Can't hardly wait, 1998, 1999.
Every time Mr. Skin, every year he does a poll. Who would you like to see get naked that's never gotten naked? And she wins every year because people want to see her naked. Well, if you could go do a Google search and find some old stuff of her naked, wouldn't you? God, really? There's stuff out there naked of
I think
she's got a little bit more of a track record, like, being out on television.
Yeah, but she's never been naked. You'd want to see her naked. Jennifer Love Hewitt's got some old stuff. I'm going to search because you want to see. I want to see this girl naked, so I searched and I found it. Why is that creepy?
Tim, you had a Lexi Thompson take on Monday that was out of this world good.
I wonder if the beauty of it, though, is the mystery of not being able to see him,
Well, that's how these girls, and they're smart if they do this, that's how they get people to flock to their OnlyFans. Because they start with Instagram just showing them in a bikini and a thong. Going, God, she's got to get naked. And you just keep going with the... No nudity, no nudity. And then you start an OnlyFans, and all these guys, we can see her naked. They go join her OnlyFans.
I'm the complete opposite. I don't fall for any of that crap. I don't fall for it.
Dude, if I was a female, man.
I will never spend a dime on OnlyFans.
I won't either, because all you got to do is just Google leaked OnlyFans, and you'll find them. That's what I did.
What detective work goes on? I had no idea.
There's no detective work. It's Google.
I need to write some of these steps down, I guess.
Oh, my God.
Well, you just got to work a little bit, and you'll find stuff.
the inspector.
All right, let me tell the people about Holderness and Bourne. If you want to look good on the golf course, Holderness and Bourne is the place you can go, hbgolf.com. The promo code is TMA15, and you get 15% off your next order. And you'll feel the difference with their premium golf apparel. Iggy can attest.
Yeah,
when
it's
it comes to
beautiful
fashion,
stuff.
it really is. Finding clothes that fit properly can make or break the outfit. But when you want to not only look good in all types of weather conditions and swing a club comfortably, fit is even more essential. Holderness and Bourne has absolutely nailed the fit because their approach is tailored but not tight, even for those who wear a bigger size. It's Holderness and Bourne. The website is hbgolf.com. Code is TMA15. Check out their new spring styles and colors. Again, go to hbgolf.com and apply the code TMA15 for 15% off your next order and feel the difference in their premium golf apparel. Holderness and Bourne, classic style with modern fit and performance. And in addition to Holderness and Bourne for your increasing golf game as the season is indeed upon us, you can work with Clubhouse Turf. Check it out at clubhouseturf.com or call 314-834-2339. You can hit the ball a long way, but if you can't chip, if you can't score inside of 100 yards, you are not going to have low scores. That's where you need to do your work. Driving the ball 300 yards is cool and impresses your buddies, but scoring amounts to getting the ball in the hole. While tour players get up and down 2/3 of the time, scratch golfers still only get up and down around half the time. Therefore, the best way to lower your scores is to improve your short game. And that's why tour players like Masters champion John Rahm and Max Homa have installed celebrity greens in their backyards. Anyone can put down fake turf and call it a putting green, but if you want a golf green that putts true and gives you real grass performance when practicing chips, pitches, and bunker shots, the only company to call is Clubhouse Turf, St. Louis's exclusive partner of Celebrity Greens. The number is 314-834-2339, or go online at clubhouseturf.com and let them know that I sent you their way. It is Clubhouse Turf. I would love to have something like that in my backyard. We are in the Michelob Ultra Studios, and Michelob Ultra, perfect when you're out on the golf course. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. Marshy Marsh and your playful posse. You see it right there. The 2023 J. Randolph Jr. Fan Page Club Championship bracket is there. The seeds that are next to them, like the NCAA tournament, those are not actually the seeds.
Okay, I was wondering why.
These were a random draw.
Yes, why Chairman Steve in Wildwood was a 15 seed. I was wondering why he was so low. I would figure he'd be, at least.
Now, he's a 25 handicap, which I think is the lowest handicap or highest, depending on which adjective you use. I think we've got a couple of scratch golfers in there. We've got a decent number of single-digit players. I would say the sweet spot is around 10 is the average. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, there's Gia's scratch, PGA Pro Dan a scratch, and there's a couple of 1s and 2s and a few 3s.
Our defending
and 4s.
champion is a real legitimate threat to repeat. His name is Chris Heck. He's 2.7. He's playing against a 6.5. He's in my bracket. He's on the lower side, but if I were lucky enough to get through, we would meet in the Elite Eight. And what we're talking about doing this year, and I haven't looked at the Gallup poll for an update. Casey, Tom, can you scroll to find the Gallup poll to see what the votes are at?
Sure, I'll take a look.
It's about $2,500 in entry fees. And what we have done in the past is, like, first place gets $800. What would second place get? $400?
Yeah,
$500?
$450, and then semifinals get.
If you get to the final four, you'd get what? A couple hundred?
Yeah. Then we go to quarterfinals. If you make the quarterfinals, you get your money back.
No. But we're just talking about this, Marsh. Winner takes all. Winner takes all.
Why not?
I like it. And I thought that it wouldn't be popular, but last time I looked at that poll I put on the fan page, now, number one, we had a number of people who weren't participating voting, but it kind of balanced out on both the yeses and nos, and it was about 66% wanted the winner take all.
Right now we're sitting at 68% to pick option 1, winner take all.
Wow.
But how many of those people are actually from the fan page?
But
that
they're
are
actually playing the event.
They're actually playing.
The majority are. I mean, I haven't looked at it in a couple days, but it was.
How many total votes are there? Is that up there?
Cage, Tom, you could probably see how many votes are.
Yeah, give me a sec.
I mean, there's 64 players.
Yeah, so it comes
can't
up 140
supersede.
votes. We'll kind of.
But, I mean, I looked at it, and I have the list of the field, so I was able to see, there were some people who voted who aren't playing it, but it was kind of balanced on each side. So, yeah, I like it.
It's a great idea.
It makes it a
come in, like,
sweat.
third place. And you're like, damn it.
What I imagine would happen is even if it got to the Final Four, the Final Four might get together and chop the pot, as we say in poker.
Yes.
But
2 years ago, I played Callahan.
That means nothing to Marsh. But
Well,
he won it in 2021.
He won the year I should have beaten him.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think I was up 4 with 6 holes to go, and I lost.
It's a classic Brooks Koepka.
I had like an 8-footer that lipped out on 18 to win the match. Then I had to go to extra holes, and I don't get a stroke in extra holes, so I had to play him straight up, and he beat me. And I got a par birdie the hole. But if I win that match, I'm in the quarterfinals, and I know I got my money back.
Yeah.
I lost, and I got nothing. So it was exciting knowing that match. If I win this match, at least I got my money back.
Right.
And I have a chance to win this thing still. When you lose, God, it's only $50, but I would have got my money back.
29-14, 43 total votes.
Yeah, okay.
And the vast majority of those are people who are actually playing in the tournament, although I don't expect you to know who is in the field. I do because I have the spreadsheet.
That's a legitimate number then, I think. Maybe a few people, but for the most part, I think I guess they do. I mean, because you got some. I'm not in that group because I may be getting 15 strokes against Geet, but I'm not going to beat him. Maybe there's some guys that are like 18, 17, 16, think I'm getting a lot of pops. I can win this thing. So, and $50 isn't a big deal to them. They don't care. So what? I lost $50. I'd rather, lose 50 if I know I had a chance to win 2,200.
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to my money manager, Mark Hanna, just to make sure that...
Oh, well, you ought to. He's online at evergreenstl.com, or you can call 314-889-0503 and work with him. I had an hour-long conversation with Mark Hanna
Freaking love that guy.
2 days ago, and his perspective is truly... I mean, even if you weren't an advertiser, I would say this. I don't know if I probably would say it on the air because he can just really help people. And I wasn't like going, hey, should I buy this or sell this? It was about life, really. And his perspective is so healthy. That to me is one of the things why I love that a number of people in our audience and people on the show, for that matter, have started working with him. One of the things that I really regret back in my 20s is not having a financial manager, financial advisor. That was a big miss. Everyone needs one, does not matter the age. And I cannot recommend somebody with Mark's character and perspective in particular more. 314-889-0503 or go online at evergreenstl.com and work with the great Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies. 314-889-0503. Iggy, how can you say you don't get nervous? You were up 4 with 6 to go, and you've lost your Dr. Tight Cheeks. That's from Father Brown Eye.
Yeah, well, you weren't there, and you didn't see
Father
the
Brown Eye,
scorecard.
were you in the gallery? If so,
And you didn't see Callahan went 1 over for those last 6 holes, and I played bogey golf, which is what I usually do. When a guy's going to make 2 birdies and a couple of pars and beat me, he beat me. I didn't beat myself.
Nice.
It'd be different if I choked by shanking some balls or topping balls or
missing a putt,
laying the sod over it. Well, it was an 8-foot putt that should have went in. It lipped out. So it's not. I mean, did you watch any of the videos of the 9 out of 10? Do you ever see the videos when we played Nagel, the putts I made? You watch any of that? Guess
Father
not.
Brown Eye.
I guess not.
636-9.
And what's your handicap, Father Brown? I will play.
Oh, there it is. Iggy loves to challenge the listeners who critiques his golf game.
Yeah, I'm undefeated.
And he's undefeated, and he wins like $200 every time. It's pretty nice.
I want to golf with you guys.
You ought to do
That'd
it.
be a fun time.
We have a match set up against Darren Pang and Pat Maroon.
Do you actually?
We do.
When is
now
this
that we've beaten Nagel, it is going to take place at Meadowbrook, which is where they play. It's where we played Nagel. It's where we 7-6'd Nagel, which I'm dead serious. If we play it 100 times, I don't think that would happen again. And that's not because of we just ran in putts from, that you just normally don't hit.
Right.
Even though I got a chance to see these putts 4 times. That's an important thing.
Yeah, but still, one of them was a 70-foot putt. The other one was like 40.
On 2
Right.
or whatever was insane.
But you also know that the probability on that is so,
we're making those putts,
rare.
and he shot even par, where a few weeks
But that's
before that
high
he
for
shot
him.
62.
Right, that's high for him. So it's just anyway. So with all that said, yeah, we'd love to have you. Yeah, you ought to play in this thing. The field is set. It is a week from Sunday.
Okay.
Weather looks pretty good, right, Iggy?
So the field's already set, though.
Well, there'll be
Field is set.
There'll be a dropout.
Well, there's a list of alternates. Are you on the TMA fan page? Are you on Facebook?
You know what? I actually went on Facebook for the first time.
The Youngs don't go on Facebook.
The other day, I just accepted some friend requests from people that work in this building that had friend requested me like almost a year ago, and I
and I had that happen too.
And I'm like, oh well,
I felt badly that I didn't, but I just don't look at my friend requests, so I don't.
I was like, you know what? Facebook, whatever. I've had that happen on Instagram where people will follow me, and I'll just, for whatever reason, I'll forget to follow them. Like, I have a few friends.
So is that a code that if they follow you, you're supposed to follow them?
I mean, like, if I'm good friends with them, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I do have some friends, though, that for whatever reason had followed me, like, back when Instagram just, like, had got going. Like, this is years ago. And for some reason, I just had never followed them back, I guess. But now it's been so long that now I would feel weird following them. Like, their page is still, like, up. I can still see it. Like, I still can message them and whatnot, sending, like, funny videos and whatnot. But, like, I don't follow them for some weird reason. And now I feel like it'd be weird
I get what
if
you're
I hit
saying.
the button and it's like, Andrew Marsh just followed you on Instagram.
I
They'd
get
be
what
like,
you're saying.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's a little awkward now.
No,
So
I know what you're saying.
I just moved past that.
I'm in a social media retirement of sorts, and I kind of like it. I don't know.
I don't really go on that much. I mean, Facebook.
Well,
I'm on
you're
every
off the
day.
fan page. So
Yeah,
that's one thing.
No, Facebook, I'm on every day. Just seeing who's posting stuff, and I like to like things. I think
like to like things. Think about that Plowhawk.
If people are on Facebook and they post
blowing my
something,
mind.
it's like,
Wish I would have heard it yesterday.
what
on
is it?
420.
How long does it take me just to click like? And they probably like, oh look, I got 20 people like my post, and that makes them happy. If it makes them happy, what does it take for me to say like?
I'm with you though. I do sympathy likes all the time, and I'm sure I get several myself. So.
But my birthdays don't pop up anymore, and I happened to. It was Cletus's birthday yesterday.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, and normally
I didn't know that. I was texting with him. I feel terrible. that I
Yeah,
didn't say happy
because
birthday.
normally on your Facebook it'll come up today's birthdays, and for some reason it's not coming up. And I just saw somebody said happy birthday, Cletus. I forgot it was a birthday. I didn't know it was a birthday.
I'm
So
terrible.
I posted something. If you want to go to my Facebook page, I said to one of the nicest guys I know, and he's been a friend for a long time, and he's one of the gayest straight people I know. And I just posted up a bunch of pictures of him kissing and putting on his girdle and guys. It's pretty funny.
Guys, I really don't go on there much. 2 seconds later, I'm on Facebook every day. Lies. Lies. That's from Green Park Goblin.
Well, I'm not on there all day. What I mean is I'm not spending 8 hours a day on Facebook. I'll get up there in the morning and I'll look and
can you
see
imagine?
if I get notifications, if I thank somebody for saying something or whatever. And maybe in the afternoon I'll pop in there and see what's going on. But I'm not spend 8 hours a day on Facebook.
I'll go on the TMA fan page.
Oh, so you are on there?
No, I'll
all right. Well,
I'll join it. I'll go on Facebook just so I can go on the fan page. Who's the admin of that?
Good luck to you.
Jackson and me and Jesse Kiowski are the admins of the TMA fan page at the moment.
Good luck, Marsh.
Yeah.
You better know your
Don't
TMA
post.
trivia because you have to answer a TMA.
Do you
question.
have to? You have to do trivia?
It's just a weeding out of bots. That's all.
Buck
it is.
Swope is one of the answers.
Is it really one of the
I
answers?
think so, yeah. You can name somebody outside of the show, I think.
Wow, what a great and hilarious post. Thanks for sharing it. Really? This is why I tune in, everyone, to hear you regale us with what you posted on Facebook yesterday. That's from 2023 Listener of the Month, presented by Milagro Tequila, Brian Henson. He also covers the Colts.
Well, if you don't care about Cletus Watson, then don't go on my post.
Brian Henson, do you care about Cletus?
I saw your picture of you standing at a podium for some reason. Are we supposed to be impressed with that?
What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
Well, he doesn't like my post. I'm going to go off on his. I saw a post of him just standing with a suit on podium. Another one.
Podium? Was he at the White House?
No, I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
It was just another fake one where he just stood in front of a podium and acted like he was doing something.
Brian Henson is photoshopping himself on.
It looked like a real podium.
No, he went somewhere and he said, I'm going to step in front of this podium, act like I'm big wig. Just like you post pictures in the press box and they kick you out. Get back to your seats.
Guys, it's always great when people take TMA jokes onto people's personal Facebook pages. Happy birthday, and here's a ton of gay jokes. Thanks. That's from Happy Gilstrap Girl. Or Harley Gilstrap Girl.
No, that's two different people. Yeah, well, everybody who knows Cletus knows that. He just doesn't shy away from just having fun, so it's no big deal.
I've kissed that dude on the lips.
Clip that off.
Yeah, I couldn't find
Tasted
that
like
picture.
wine and smokes.
Is that what it was?
Heavy.
Was that from his mustache, or was that from the lips and the tongue you tasted on that boy?
Well, the mustache felt like one of those really worn down razors that just about to throw away. So it's like it doesn't cut you, but like, woo.
I think the funniest picture of him that I put up there was, remember the year that we went like 3 rounds in the Fan Page Club Championship? We had a loser's bracket, then we had a second loser's bracket.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that the Florida Flower won that one. He's holding the cup. And he's getting kissed on the neck by Jeff Cox. And then Cletus is standing there with a cigarette in his mouth and his pants down with his girdle and his tidy whities on.
The pageantry.
The pageantry of Jennings Jr.
Had to hit a like on that.
Fan Page Club Championship. Let's see, guys. I'm looking for naked photos of Henson, but can't find any. Can Iggy help? That's from Steve, Chairman Steve, in Wildwood.
Not doing your searches for that.
Iggy, 90% of what you talk about on the show is complaining about what you see on social media. Don't say you don't get on Facebook that much. That's from Scooter.
So if I get on there a couple times a day and I see something I don't like, I can't talk about it? And that means I'm on there all day looking for these posts? That makes no sense.
Scooter, the action's back on you, 63690.
And 90% of my talk is not about bashing people on social media.
I do not care about Cletus. And yes, it was photoshopped. But no, that story about my guy Cox kissing the gay Hoosier really wasn't, quote-unquote, hilarious, unquote.
Well,
It's from Brian Henson. That's his response to it.
Well, I thought it was funny. And if you know Cletus, you probably thought it was funny. Have you ever met Cletus? I would guess not.
Brian Henson, the action's back on you. I'm dealing out a lot of hands this
For a
morning.
guy that all he does is post gay stuff on here, I can't believe you wouldn't think it's funny.
Morning, guys. I just ran into Mr. Licks at the bait shop off Highway 40 and 94. He was arguing with the kid at the register because they wouldn't honor the coupon on the back of his Long John Silver's receipt that said to present this to your local fisherman for free trips on how to get along with your wife. Thanks. That comes from Dragon Slayer. Threesomes can be tricky. One time I told the guy to sit Indian style behind my stack of glittery bowling balls while I let his wife have some sex on me.
I don't think I've ever had a glitter bowling ball. Oh, yeah, I did a crown jewel one time.
Send your emails in. We will have the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today coming your way at approximately 9:45 in our 9 o'clock hour. And I will be down the hallway on 101 ESPN. The great John Denton, who's going to be a regular on TMA. He will be with us at 10:15 as the Cardinals start their West Coast road trip in Seattle. What is the tenure, or the tone, I should say, of the Cardinal discussion on the fast lane?
Oh, man, it's a lot of pitching discussions.
Are people angry? That's what I'm curious
Yeah,
about.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plowhawk is right there with him.
Yeah, I mean, when
Plowhawk's been angry before the season.
For sure. I mean, when his guy Packy Nottingham went down, I'm sure there was some.
Plowhawk, where'd you go?
Some angst, of course.
I disappeared. I didn't know if we needed to get a 911 in.
Yeah, I thought he was choking like the Cardinals do when they had runners in scoring position. That's also another topic of discussion.
And we were
RISP.
And I was going to talk about your rotation of girls. We talked about that earlier, and if there were some Packy Naughtons or some Steve Matts, to where
some lefties
underperforming to where they used to be kind of good.
Yeah.
I know Iggy's is more like the Wainwright kind of Bumgardner situation,
Bob
where they're kind of
Fellers.
just hanging on by reputation.
We got Bumgarner yelling at you while you're catching. You know.
Was there talk yesterday? It's funny. I wrapped up the show on 101 yesterday with the article from the Diamondbacks. That and this was before he had been DFA'd. He was DFA'd like a half hour later, about how the Diamondbacks were in a spot where they were thinking about, whether or not he would be back for his next start. And I'm like, clearly he's not. And then sure enough, they DFA'd him.
Right.
I didn't see that coming. But that the Cardinals may look at him.
Oh, we talked about it.
What was the consensus of you and Anthony Stalter and Jamie Rivers in your audience?
I mean, what's the point? You have
That's
Matthew
right. I mean, you gotta be
Liberatore
kidding
down
me.
in Memphis. Like, if you need a guy until Waino comes back, why not just go to one of your guys in Memphis? I mean, yeah, you could say, oh, it can't get any worse, but, like,
his velocity is down
he just
so
hasn't been good.
precipitously.
Like, he hasn't been good.
I couldn't believe the Diamondbacks did that deal when they did him.
I can't believe it
That
either.
was 4 years ago. I
Man,
guess?
people wanted him last year, too.
Yeah, Ben Frederickson wrote a column, and I respect the column because he said, yeah, we're all those people who wanted Bumgardner at the trade deadline. Oh, wait, I was one of them. And,
Yeah, well, it's
I was
because
wrong.
of the whole J. Happ, John Lester thing where you think, okay, maybe they could do it again.
Well,
They
the
did it
Cardinals have a
last year.
history of a reclamation project.
Right.
Usually it was tied to Dave Duncan, Happ and Lester.
But I
were
wonder
outliers.
if Yachty was instrumental in that as well. Because if you look at Jose Quintana, I mean, he was kind of in the same category, maybe a little bit better than those other two guys. But like, he wasn't lights out with Pittsburgh or
He was better. His numbers were good.
Who was he with before Pittsburgh?
I mean, he was with the
He was with the Cubs, the White Sox, but I think there was a team in
was that
between
right?
that he was with. I could be
I don't
wrong,
recall.
but then he went to Pittsburgh, and I mean, he wasn't lights out with them.
I am really anxious to see what happens over this. I believe it's a 9-game trip. I know they're playing Seattle, San Francisco, and the Dodgers, and they come home and take on the Angels. So it'll be cool to see Ohtani here, along with Trout. But that the Cardinals, you played 10 games against the Rockies, Diamondbacks, and Pirates, and you went 5-5. I mean,
It's
that
not
is
good.
that's. I don't know if the Pirates have something here. I mean, they keep winning. Diamondbacks lost last night with Tatis's first game back. They lost 7-5. That was a Michael Wacha start. But I just, it's the first time. I don't know when you're a big hockey guy. When
Yeah.
did you wonder or think that the 2022-2023 Blues might be bad? Because I arrived there much later than like the guys who I have on the show on 101, Rutherford,
Yeah.
Kerber, and Pang.
I mean, I was pretty skeptical about him during that 8-game losing streak. Like,
well, that's understandable.
I
But
mean, you don't
they had
lose
those
8 games in a row
Right.
and consider yourself, oh, well, it's early in the year. We're still trying to figure things out, like, whatever. I'm like, no, we're seeing a team that is showing inconsistencies that we saw last year before the Blues weren't that good. They had a stretch where they were not that great before the trade deadline. Then they went and got Nick Leddy, and then they looked good after that Washington Capitals game in Washington, and then they proceeded to go on a little run. That's when Robert Thomas started heating up, and he had his little point streak going, and they looked good. But when you saw the inconsistencies earlier in the year and you saw what other teams in your division were doing, I mean, at the time, the teams in the division, you look at the Colorado Avalanche, you're like, oh, these guys aren't really doing that great either. So you're like, okay, maybe it could be a thing. But once those teams started to sort of jump up, and once the Jets beat the Blues, I'm like, come on, man. Like, this is when I was like, I don't know what this team has, because you had like the Tyler Pitlicks of the world on your team. You had Josh Levo. You had those guys that, let's be honest, like those guys are not playing on your 2019 Stanley Cup team, right? Like, I just knew that maybe they could be a wild card team, but at the end of the day, they weren't good enough, and they played how they played early in the year, all season long.
Yeah, you're right.
I hope that's not the case with the Cardinals.
That's the thing.
We had a discussion the other day.
Thing.
And that's the thing that I think that there was. I can't recall, and maybe somebody in the audience can. A year going back to 2000. That's kind of the year that when I try to do these comparisons to incorporate most of the people in the audience, where both the Cardinals and Blues had expectations. Not that the Blues had cup aspirations, but because of, I think, the way that they had beaten the Wild and played the Avalanche tight, that there may have been unfounded hopes that the team would at least be in the mix. Not necessarily for the division per se, but certainly in the playoffs.
For sure.
And that's where the Cardinals are as well, except the expectation is they're going to get into the playoffs because of the division. And I can't recall a year, because people would point to 2007 where the Cardinals didn't make it and the Blues were in their rebuild. But in the case of the Blues, there weren't expectations. That was the come grow with us, Oshie, Berglund era. This would be different if you had a year where both were expected to be in and both would not be in. I can't imagine that the Cardinals are as bad as they've played, but the thing is about that 5-5 stretch against the Rockies, Pirates, and Diamondbacks, they're kind of lucky that they won 5. It could have been worse, and that's something that opens my eyes.
And what's interesting about the two similarities is, like, you look at the Blues, their defense, like they had offense, like, and especially you saw that at the end of the year, like they could score goals. They couldn't prevent it. And I'm wondering if it's the same thing with the Cardinals. Like, they will be able to score. Like, offensive-wise, they will score. I know there's been some stretches of games early on where they haven't produced, but we just saw it the other day. When they score, and they score in bunches.
Yeah.
And we see that. But I don't know if the pitching, I don't know if the pros outweigh the cons for this team. Like, the Blues, to me, I thought this year is probably the best thing for them was to miss the playoffs, because let's say they make the playoffs this year and they get bounced in the first round, they're screwed. They don't have the picks. They probably still lose all of those players because they have zero cap space. They have maybe $4 million to work with, unless they can move Torrey Krug, which seems to be the consensus of all the fans out there. They probably want him to be moved. But I wonder if it's one of those things where would it be a good thing for, and I don't want them to miss the playoffs, of course. I want to see them, make the playoffs and hopefully win a World Series. But I wonder if it's one of those things where the best thing for the Cardinals is for them to miss the playoffs.
But
for the front office
but that's where we get into the difference between the two organizations. The Cardinals just don't. I can't recall the Cardinals selling, truly selling.
Yeah.
Since Bill DeWitt has owned the team. There was a year, 2001, in which they really could have won the World Series, but at the time they made the deal, they were just trading away a middle reliever who was solid by the name of Jason Christensen. But you have to go back, really, for the Cardinals to be sellers.
I don't think they would be sellers, especially with this group of people.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt, the thing that's weird with Goldschmidt, he's 35 years old.
I think they'll be close. If they do miss the playoffs, it'll be like one of those 2018 years, 2017, where they're missing the playoffs by 1 or 2 games. They're there till the end of the season. I just think it will end up coming back to bite them these early games in April and May, where they don't have the pitching because they didn't go out and do anything.
That's the thing that just confused me about the offseason, which is why I was wondering what the status was during the offseason with regard to their financials, if the Bally's thing impacted it, if the market just shifted. Goldschmidt is up after next year. It feels like he kind of just got here, but he's up after next year. He's also going to be 36 years old next year. So you have that part of it. And you would just think that you would want to capitalize on this era of this core. And you went into a season with this rotation. I realize Adam Wainwright's not a part of it, but how much is Adam Wainwright going to give you? And of the teams that are real competitors for a World Series this year, or even the National League pennant, and I think if you're a competitor for the National League pennant, you're a competitor for the World Series, which starting rotation do the Cardinals have a better group of five? You know what I mean?
They don't.
They don't.
And
And nor do they have a
they're-
stopper.
Right.
And that's the thing. I get that you can't necessarily have that guy, but this is what you got, and so you are going to have to outslug teams. And what I would point out regarding the Cardinals' runs scored, you know, the runs that they piled up on Wednesday were against a guy who wasn't even with the team 24 hours later. And, you know, it's been that Python offense that we used to joke about. They will bang away at some teams, but then they will go cold against the quality teams. And it's just something to keep an eye on. And you know, it's April 21st, but they are 6 games back of the Brewers. And that's a big number. Can it be overcome? Of course it can. And people always point to 2011. But that's a surprisingly big number. And while the Cardinals kind of flop around, the Brewers have won 4 straight. And I don't know. I was discounting the Pirates. I still discount the Pirates, but
I think
they've won 13 of 20 so far.
I think the Pirates and the Cubs will even off. I think they'll end up becoming what their roster is. And the Cubs have definitely improved their roster. Like Cody Bellinger has looked good in his little, what do you want to call it, 1 year flyer, I guess.
No.
I mean, they got some guys over there. Dansby Swanson's hitting really well, who was connected to the Cardinals in the offseason. I look at some of the lineups around the National League, and, you know, we talk about the pitching not being able to compare. I don't even know if our lineup necessarily, you know, top to bottom compares to some of these other teams. Like, I looked at the Padres lineup. Like, their top 4 is just, it's unbelievable.
Oh, it's absurd.
Tatis, you have Soto, who actually hasn't been hitting that well.
Well, Machado hasn't either.
Yeah, and then you got Machado, and then you got Bogarts. But, like, those guys, you're telling me, like, those guys aren't going to produce when it comes to October?
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what they're thinking in San Diego. They're 10 and 11 at this point, and you do have guys who aren't producing.
And maybe
offensively.
that's a silver lining for us Cardinals fans, is that San Diego's struggling. You know, the Mets aren't blowing teams away. The Phillies aren't doing that well. Now, they have injuries, though. Me, personally, I don't see any team beating the Braves. I could totally see the Braves
are in
winning
another
World
world
Series.
right now. Their winning streak of 8 came to an end, but they are 14-5 on the season. Brewers are 14-5 as well, and I just think that was not something that most people expected at this point, about 20 games into the season. We will close out our appliance discounters 8 o'clock hour. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today is coming up at 9:45. I'll be on Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. Matt Rocchio on board as he was yesterday. He'll be with me again as Jackson's vacationing the Hamptons. Doug's in the Mediterranean. Take a commercial break. Come back with our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. This is the Ryan Kelly Morning After from the Michelob Ultra Studios.
Hello, it's Jackson for Rosalita's. TMA listeners know that Rosalita's Cantina has the best patio and the best Tex-Mex in town. From tableside guac to piled high nachos, the amazing menu at Rosalita's is full of classic Mexican dishes. Plus, it's always time for a margarita, and Rosalita's has the most delicious house and specialty margs in town. Enjoy happy hour specials Monday through Friday from 3 to 6, and let Rosalita's cater your next event. Check out rosalitascantina.com or visit the downtown or DePere location today. Time to get your fiesta on at Rosalita's.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with a great TMA sponsor, and that is Longo Biggs Injury Law Firm. And you may hear a bunch of out-of-state law firms advertising here and there all over on billboards and so on and so forth. But the thing is, oftentimes their goal is to just settle and move on, and that's not what you guys do.
Yeah, this is CD Longo, and you hear us talking a lot about maximizing the value of cases, but what does that actually mean? Well, as Tim said, there's lots of personal injury lawyers in St. Louis, and everyone handles cases differently. We focus on getting the highest dollar amount for your injuries, not just getting a resolution quickly. We're constantly tracking all the settlements and verdicts in the area. This helps us advise our clients on whether a settlement offer is too low. And if the amount of compensation being offered is too low, we are happy to file lawsuits and proceed to trial to ensure our clients receive an amount that is fair. Visit our website or Google us at Longo Biggs Injury Law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with Ryan Kelly. And Ryan, this is a unique time right now. Times are tight for everybody, but that is where you can help people out.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we talk to homeowners every single day at the office, and I'm no different. You know, things just cost a lot of money. And I remember you and I talking about 2 years ago when Christmas trees, of all things, I remember the conversation. They're like $250 to the Christmas lot, and people were talking supply chain issues or this or that. And I was just like, holy cow, how do you afford a $250 Christmas tree? And now you just think about everything, $4 for some milk and this. And the sad part is our income just isn't, they're not keeping up with it. You know, and you hear these numbers like going up 7%. And this, but did your income go up to keep up with it? And the unfortunate truth is so many people have not kept up with that. So it falls on the credit cards. And in America right now, we just topped $940 billion in credit card debt. And that's great if you're a greedy credit card company, but if you're a homeowner, it makes paying the bills tough. We can help you get back on track. Learn more about a cash out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Tim McKernan Show podcast, featuring long-form interviews with people from the world of sports, politics, and entertainment.
And our guest today, Bill McClellan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure, Tim.
What's up, Caden?
Hi, how are you?
Joe Buck, our guest today.
Man, it's like I haven't seen you in years.
More than 500 episodes and counting, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts, including the TMA STL app. Get the app now at tmastl.com.
Okay.
Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
And now the Pepperoncini Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Stroh. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open.
Pepperoncini.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We just know it's stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at tmastl.com and on the TMASTL mobile app. Whatever.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. And James, I love getting emails from listeners who support the sponsors. I got one last week from a client of yours who switched, and you immediately saved him $1,000, and it meant the world to him.
The area that we're really having an impact on people's finances are people with drivers under the age of 25. We're seeing material savings for these types of clients, hundreds, if not even thousands of dollars per year.
James Carlton, Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800, or go online at carltoninsurance.net.
Engineer Design Facilities is moving forward as the EDF Group, the most experienced data center and critical facilities service provider in the St. Louis market. Check out the newly revamped website, theedfgroup.com, and take a look at each of the 3 divisions they have to offer. EDF Group is your one throat to choke for all your critical facilities, data center, commercial fire alarm, and electrical and IT infrastructure needs. To contact the EDF Group, email fire@theedfgroup.com. Experience the EDF Group difference and learn more at theedfgroup.com.
For more than
7
years, the
Totem
tournament has been a rite of spring. The azaleas and dogwoods waking the golfing world from its winter slumber.
So, the Totem's back May 18th and 19th at Normandy Golf Club. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Get your foursome together. That's still funny. And join Tim, Iggy, Doug, Jackson, and Plowsy for a day out on the course. Hey, so Friday's sold out now. Few teams remain for Thursday. Get them while you can, with a portion of the proceeds benefiting Birdies for Bipolar. Your ticket gets you in on all the debauchery, including your Mick Ultra beer, breakfast from Donut Drive-In, lunch from Rockstar Tacos, and a kick-ass after party with smash burgers from Rockstar Tacos. The return of the 7th annual TMA Totem Golf Tournament, brought to you by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota. Better than ever for you, their customer, and Family Golf and Learning Center. Learn, practice, and play your best golf. Visit familygolfonline.com. Get all the Totem info now at tmastl.com. Thank you. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. Now, back to the Ryan Kelly Morning After.
Welcome back, Ryan Kelly Morning After. It's the 9 o'clock hour here from the Michelob Ultra Studios. Timothy Michael McKernan. Marshy Marsh is in for Doug. Jackson's vacationing as well. Plowhawks on the 1s and 2s, and KG and O-Town is in the Horton Watkins Studios. Marsh, what does a bachelor like yourself do on a weekend in St. Louis? What's going on with you? Let's get to the bottom of this, and I want to figure it out now.
I don't know. Go downtown.
Are you going to go
a couple
downtown?
bars. Yeah, actually last weekend I just stayed in. I didn't do all that much.
Where do you go? You go to you probably go to Wheelhouse and see what the word is. That's your
No,
move.
I don't go to Wheelhouse anymore. That was more of a early 20s.
Really? So you feel
place.
you're too old for Wheelhouse?
Yeah, I'm not. It's not my. I don't get me wrong. I will if the group is wanting to go to Wheelhouse for whatever reason, I'll go. Like I'm not going to say no. Like I'll go wherever the group wants to go.
So where are your haunts? Where are your haunts?
Yeah, I've graduated from that place. I like going to the Midwestern. It's a solid spot. I like live music. They got a nice little stage back in the back. I've been going to Soulard more now that the weather's starting to turn. I like going outside, and I've been hitting up Dogtown.
Oh wow, look at you!
More recently, which is a nice little spot as well. So. It really depends. Depends on what's going down that weekend.
Which place has the most beautiful lasses? I need to know this.
I don't know. I guess I'll go with the Midwestern. Maybe that's probably because that's where I frequent the most, I guess. So, like, I can't say it's one place and because I don't go there all too often. So that's probably my spot. I'd say I go there, probably 70% of the time.
That's your
But I try and switch it up.
Yeah.
So,
Plowhawk, what's on your agenda? Madison's agenda?
Oof. I don't know if we have much going on this weekend. Man, that's a good question. I don't think we got anything going.
Wow, free weekend.
But Sunday, my sister and nephew come in, so I'm taking Monday off because we're going to the zoo and hanging out.
The free zoo.
Yeah, I love the free zoo. Love living by the free zoo. So, yeah, probably just doing that until she flies out to North Carolina on Thursday with her girls, with her girlfriends. So, yeah, just spending time with the family.
Iggy, you have returned. We're discussing weekend plans. Do you have anything? Anything on the itinerary?
What am I doing this weekend? It's going to be crappy weather. So I'm going to go hit balls today because it's still going to be
Get some
70.
work in?
And yeah, I got to get the short game going. So I'm going to go over to family golf this afternoon.
You're going to shock the world next Sunday, brother.
I don't know. Maybe that injury's got to flare up.
Oh, Iggy's opponent, Marsh, has an injury.
Really?
Yeah, he's a scratch golfer, but he's injured. And Iggy will be getting about 15 pops.
Interesting.
We were discussing the rules, by the way, in the Fan Page Club Championship. So ball down in the rough, up in the fairway. I want to make sure that we do this. I forgot to do it in advance. The rake and replace in the bunkers. That is important. That is an important rule.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to make sure I...
But, really?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I think Gateway's bunkers are pretty good.
It's still not...
Maybe this time of year.
It's not about Gateway's bunkers, like comparing them to Normandy. It's definitely not that. It's that some people just don't rake, and then if you get in a footprint.
Okay.
Remember we had that when we were playing? I had it a bunch, and
Oh,
then you
yeah.
had it, and then I said, hey, going forward for everybody.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that just prevents that. That's a
Yeah,
really
that's true.
bad beat.
And we do, that's not fair to even good golfers to get stuck in there. So, yeah, that's a good rule. I like that one.
I was trying to think 75% of the handicap, which Sean will have calculated. Any other rules that we have neglected? Go ahead, 314-881-TMA5.
Everything is red stake.
Everything's red stake. Nicely done, sir.
I don't think so. Just remember match play. If I'm on the,
remember match play.
I'll use me as an example, even though this won't happen with me and Guy. But if I'm on the green at 2 and you're hitting 6 from the fairway, just say pick up. Let's go.
All right, I'm going to give that
Or
guy
don't
an
make me putt.
opportunity
If you lie 6 and I lie 2, just say that's good. That's match play. I'm not going to 5 putt from here.
I don't.
Just go. Just say that's good. Let's go the next hole. So just know your match play.
I did want to go golfing this weekend, but like Iggy said,
Where would you
weather,
go play, bro? Where would you go play?
I like going to Dardenne.
It's a nice little course. I like it out there.
Where
my brother lives close to there.
Off Highway K. So
Yeah, it's a
I
nice
play
little
there,
course.
with some buddies. So probably out there. I actually haven't even golfed in quite some time, but I'm looking.
Are you a bomber? That hockey swing motion. You bomber. I would say you're a bomber. That's what I would say. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got, what are you, about like 6'1"? 6'1"?
I'm about 6'3".
6'3"? Yeah, you got that nice, long, lanky swing, I would guess. Kind of flowing.
If I can get into one, it'll go. But
You go over 3 bills, brah? You go over 3 bills, brah?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love to golf. Am I good at golf? Absolutely not. And I'll be the first person to tell you.
Who cares as long as you enjoy it? That's all that matters.
Exactly. No, I love it. I love it, especially on 18 when I hit the ball really well. I'm like, man, where was that all around?
That brings you back. That one shot will bring you back.
It'll bring me back, and so then we keep going. But like for the first 16, 17 holes, I'm just absolutely hating life because I golf like I'm good. Like I think I'm good at golf, but I'm not. So I have that mindset. It's just that competitive spirit where I think I should be doing better, but in reality, like I'm playing exactly how I should because at some points throughout the year, like I don't play enough.
I'm of the opinion, I could be wrong on this, and this is interesting. You'll find this interesting in particular as a hockey guy. I had this conversation. We were watching the final round of the PGA Championship, Belle Reve, and I was on the range. And my God, if you go back, I shot video of it. Who was on the range in the final round on the leaderboard of the 2018 PGA Championship?
Justin Thomas.
Well, I mean, Tiger Woods to start.
Tiger, yeah.
Rahm, Thomas, Brooks Koepka, obviously, Adam Scott.
It was a hell of a leaderboard.
Fowler. I mean, it was just everybody. Gary Woodland was playing with Tiger, and he would win a U.S. Open, in a year or two at Pebble.
That was I ended up going on Sunday.
It was ridiculous. So I wind up standing next to Al McInnes, who, I mean, obviously I know who he is. And
he was my coach growing up.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I know he's like a round scratch, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I had played the day before with Marcus Allen. And when Marcus Allen lived in St. Louis, I would play golf maybe 4 or 5 times because the guy I was working with on my golf swing was Marcus Allen's instructor, and that's how I got to know him. It's not like Marcus Allen's like, yeah, Tim, let's go play golf. I was the third wheel, but I played with him 4 or 5 times. Really nice guy, and so one time I was BSing with Marcus, who was famously a great athlete, and of course you go, well, no crap, he's in the NFL Hall of Fame, but I'm talking about he was a great baseball player. Mm-hmm. I think he's from San Diego, I think is where he grew up, and I think he was a quarterback and a ridiculous safety or corner or something like that. Anyway, ridiculous athlete. And I said to him, do you think if you would have, because he's obsessed with golf, he's got a little Furyk hitch in his swing. I mean, last time I played with him, he did. And I said, do you think if you would have played golf from the time you were 8 or 9, that you could have made it on the PGA Tour? And he's a humble guy for all that he's accomplished. He goes, yeah, I think I could have. In other words, that the athletics. And then I asked McInnes, and Marcus was on my mind because I had played with him the day before, and McInnes, has one of the most famous slap shots in the history of the game. So he has what is a similar motion, and obviously those fast twitch muscles.
Right.
And I said, and I knew he was a scratch player, and he also has a great. I mean, from my standpoint, you have to have that. The great players usually have that kind of demeanor that McInnes has. For sure. And Marcus Allen has it too. Competitive but cool. And I said, do you think you could have? And he was what? How did he get strong? Was it Nova Scotia? He was like
he's from Nova Scotia.
Okay. And he did something as a kid that helped develop those muscles. I remember I'm sure 300 people text me in and tell me what it was. But anyway, he said, I don't think so. He goes, these guys are seeing where he's looking out at, there's Koepka and Tiger, and they're 20 yards away from us. He goes, they just have something that I don't think everybody has. My point in telling this anecdote, first off, it's two Hall of Famers, 2 guys who are really good at it. I actually do believe it's more of a, if you work at it, I think you can be great at it. Right. I could never be a great baseball player. I loved the game. I played it a bunch, but I could never be great at it. And I think if you just have, relatively speaking, decent athletic ability, I think golf is a game that you can work at and become, again, not to say that you can go on the tour or Corn Ferry or even be scratch, but you can, I think it's a game that is not where only certain people can play it. And I don't know if I'm wrong on that. I fall more into the Marcus Allen of, Yeah, I agree with Marcus Allen. I think Marcus Allen could have played on the PGA Tour.
Because you have the right mechanics. You can fix your swing to where you're hitting the ball straight down the fairway.
Or you can shape it and know how to do that if you want to go to another level.
100%.
But so much of the game, if you actually break down your strokes over the course of a round, are certainly within 100 yards, but even more so within probably 20 yards of the pin.
For sure.
And that's got very little to do relative to tee shots or skating and shooting a puck,
right?
Or the vision or the awareness.
I mean, hitting a baseball.
Yeah, hitting a baseball.
Like you
the ability
can't
to throw a ball.
100%.
So
like
you can't
have
teach
to.
that.
You have to have that natural instinct.
You can
to
teach short game. Now, you can't teach tracked statistically, although I think the bounce back stat after a bogey and then if you birdie the next hole speaks volumes as far as a player's mentality.
I'll give you one of the main reasons.
I think you can teach a player to be a great golfer.
And you mentioned the word teach. When Ozzie first took up the game of golf after he retired, he was like an 18, 19 handicap.
Oh, is that right?
He's playing like he's playing like a 4 now. These guys will get an instructor, and they will teach them, and they are smart enough to know what he's talking about. Okay, you're back here, but you're not here. Okay, and they get that, and the muscle memory, they can do that. A lot of us who take some lessons will forget it a week later and are back to doing the crap we did before. But these guys will keep that and work on it, and they're smart, and they know, okay, that makes sense because that was my baseball swing when I was struggling. I was doing this. They can reuse that, and that's how they get better.
And there's likely for a lot of guys who played professional sports an internal drive / competitiveness that they have to go and work.
100%.
Like Freeze, for example. He dropped by, I think he was on probably the Riz show, I would guess, but I don't know. He was walking past, and the last thing he wanted to do, but this is back before we were in a closet and I could see people in the hallway, was come in, even though, we have a fine rapport, but he just knew what would wind up happening if he did. And I said, man, I've noticed that you have been putting in some work, and he's gone from like a 12 or 13 down to a 6 last time I checked, because I'd like us to play Freeze as well. I don't know who we would partner him with. Boy, wouldn't it be great if we had Freeze and the Wizard? How great would that be?
I bet we could get that done.
I think we could get it. Well, just because Freeze is obsessed with it, and so is Ozzy.
And we could throw some charity in there, and they would come out and make money.
Of course. But, Pang he got to a +2. I think he's around scratch now. What I'm saying is if you have that internal drive that you had as a younger person to get to the NHL, Major League Baseball, whatever, then that is a trait that you cannot teach.
Yeah.
It's also, as I've said before, I say it way more on QFTA when I'm talking about being all, whatever in the head, screwed up in the head, is that if you have a drive, you also just are never satisfied. And
right, yeah. These players, they never lose it, right?
Yes, exactly.
They want to devote their
they move their
efforts
competition
to something else.
new.
And that's why a lot of guys go in, whether it's business, golf, whatever, like they have to keep that drive and that will to be better than everyone else at some whatever, let's say sport, company.
That you can, and
that's
you
why
can
they're
never
the best,
perfect.
That's why they're
when
the
there was
best.
a poker boom, a lot of guys in business and in Hollywood who didn't need the money by any means, but they would be, okay, I want to compete against the best, even though that's certainly got a way higher variance when it comes to, getting a bad beat on a card. But you have variance in golf, certainly. If you're playing the ball down everywhere, which is how I'm used to playing, you're going to get that kind of crap. You're going to get bad lies. You're going to land in a divot, be in a bad spot in a bunker, whatever. But that's the thing that I've noticed. But I really do. It was so interesting that in a matter of 24 hours, I have the one conversation with Marcus Allen, and then the next day, coincidentally, I'm on the range and talking with Al McInnes, and one guy thinks that he could have been, and another guy thinks that it probably wasn't possible. And I would think that Marcus Allen and Al McInnes, both, if they would have had a golf club in their hands at whatever age, and they were playing it, like, Spieth grew up on a country club, and Justin Thomas's dad was a teaching professional, not a PGA professional, that if you have those abilities, because I've talked with, guys who play, whether it be a Nagel, who can hit the ball further than damn near anybody, and who also has the short game, or an Adam Long, and I go, well, why, and he hits it far, but it's far for like us, but on tour, he's on the lower end of it. And he goes, it's just a God-given ability to hit the ball far. But when it comes to the stuff around the green and inside of 100 yards, that is teachable,
Mm-hmm.
but it also requires going, I'm going to go to the range, or I'm going to hit 100 balls and have the time to do it, have the resources
Mm-hmm.
to do it, but then also have the desire to do it. And those are the things that, that are the variables. Guys, what's the new guy's handicap? Is he a Grant Lemming? That's from DraftKings Cal.
New guy?
That is,
Yeah, I know, but they should know you by now. You're not a new guy.
That's fair.
You've been on how many times now? 3 times?
This is my third
Yeah,
time.
but you're on 101. People know who you are.
Do you keep a...
I actually don't. I don't play it. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I don't play enough to really have one.
Iggy and Plowhawk both in the 18 range?
Like,
is that fair?
For some reason, they got me at 17.5.
I'm shooting like like low 90s, mid 90s.
Yeah.
Not bad.
There, so
That'll fall into the category of most of the participants in the
yeah,
Junior.
so
You fit right in.
Yeah. KG, no town, you're like a 15 or something?
Yeah, that might be a little generous, but in that
A vanity
ballpark.
15? A vanity 15?
Yeah. High 80s, low 90s. Everybody knows how I shoot.
So what's funny is this hat that I'm wearing. I went down
the TPC Scottsdale.
Yes, great.
And then you got the bar stool on, too, so you're out there with rigs.
No, that would be fun though, wouldn't it? I actually got this down in Arizona at one of the golf stores, but I was down there for my buddy's wedding, and like the day before the wedding, we ended up going to the course and playing. And when I tell you this was the best round I had ever shot, at the time, like it was unbelievable. I was like 1 over through 9 holes, which is like we played the Champions course too. It was like the best I
That's
ever
a
played.
hell of a round for somebody who's usually shooting in the 90s.
Exactly. Like, and it all came down to like my short game. Like my putts were falling. Like the greens were just unbelievable. It was perfect for the way that I played, and of course alcohol was involved throughout the entire day.
Of course, naturally.
And I had consumed too much alcohol, and I remember on like hole 11 maybe, I hit a shot, I go out into the fairway, and I get out of the golf cart. And it was one of those things where when you stand up and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm hammered right now. I had one of those moments. It got to the point where I stood up. I'm like, I am so drunk right now that I went up there and I took a swing, and I lost like it almost felt like I lost all of my motor skills. I forgot how to swing, and I ended up hitting in the low 90s, and I had one of the worst back nines I've ever had in my life.
It got in your head.
It got in my head that I was doing so well that I screwed it up.
It's funny.
And I was so mad. I was so mad.
Yeah.
And it kind of like ruined my day for a little bit. And my buddy was like, dude, like, we're good.
Yeah.
Like, you're fine, man. You're fine.
But things, who cares?
But I think it was because like I went to the range before. I got super prepared, just because like we're in such a nice course. Like you don't want to do bad,
Sure,
right?
absolutely.
And of course, I'm not one of those people that I ended up buckling under pressure because I was hitting so well, and it didn't end up working out for me. But great course, by the way.
Iggy, what are you about to say to the people? I don't see you with a Brush Creek.
Well, it was supposed to be yesterday. I didn't do it yesterday.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's your problem. You know, when you drink a lot, you need to
I
eat.
thought you were talking to me in the Plock.
Oh, there was no food. Like what little pretzels were being consumed.
No, you need something substantial.
I got
You
stabbed.
think this is an under the table spot?
Good for him.
I got
I
stabbed
do it on
by a
Mondays and
cactus.
Thursdays. So if it's a freebie, it's a freebie. I usually do it on Monday and Thursday.
Well, they're adamant on here at Hubbard Radio to not do spots if they're not on the log. That's the only reason I ask.
Well, nobody's
because
told me.
then the Plowhawk gets
It was not on the log
gets
yesterday
a
or today?
situation on his hands, and I don't want the Plowhawk.
Well, you let me know.
Why don't you communicate with the powers that be on that, and then make sure before you do it, because for real it can.
Well, then check, and if it is on the log and we didn't see it, I'll make good next week.
Yeah, there you go. Green Envy is locally owned and operated. They've been in business in St. Louis for over a decade. They have treated both my lawn and Doug Vaughn's lawn, and he's raving about it, as am I. I'm in awe of how good the lawn looks this early in the year, and it's not like the temperatures were incredible in March, and it was treated like on March 8th. And it looks so good. It's Green Envy, 636-757-1600. With the rain, weeds will explode when the temperatures warm up. Now is the time to get ahead of it. Service calls No charge for weed touch-up or reapplying weed control for Green Envy customers. Their service professionals are commercially licensed applicators as certified by the Missouri Department of Agriculture. They're open 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday, Saturday 9 to 1, to take your calls and answer questions. 636-757-1600. It is Green Envy. And Maggie O'Brien's, if you are looking for a place to go this weekend, Maggie O'Brien's on Market and Maggie O'Brien's in Sunset Hills would be the places I would recommend to you. That's Maggie O'Brien's with Eddie McVeigh. You know what you're going to get? That's a local Irish pub. It's been in business for 40-plus years, and they will take wonderful care of you at Maggie O'Brien's. Delicious food, in addition to great customer service and a really good time. It's Maggie O'Brien's on Market Street as well as in Sunset Hills. Plowhawk, have you been able to discover the mystery of the Brush
It was
Creek
on Monday's
spot?
log, which we did,
Yeah,
but I'm
Monday.
looking at yesterday and today's log, and it's not
Okay.
on there. I made sure to triple check, because sometimes I do miss them when I look at the log, because they kind of blend in. So I did a double check of yesterday and today to make sure I haven't missed anything either.
Okay.
Something was wrong with my email yesterday, and it was and I got home and I couldn't get into my email either. So
I had that happen to me too.
Okay, and it was a Microsoft thing.
Yeah, it had to be.
So it was down. I went on. So KG and O-Town, you did a wonderful job. Out of nowhere, he was on the call of the Reeds yesterday.
I'll tell you what, at the house,
KG and O-Town, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you.
I've had two separate Spectrum scheduled quote-unquote outages.
Schedule outages.
That are like supposed to come back at 1:30 p.m. and they come back at like 9:30 or 10 p.m. And I've had two of those in 1 week. Like, what's the protocol there? I don't want to call. They text me and saying it's out, but when you say it's going to be on and then it's off for an extra 8 hours, I pay for that service.
Aren't the Wi-Fi people? I'll just call them that. They're the worst.
They raised my
puts
bill.
me
Like,
in
my bill is like $8 more than what it was when I signed up, and I don't really know how to ask that either. Like, why is it, $85 at this point?
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for the $85 package. I'm not, NASA. I'm not working from home.
It is magical how that winds up working. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Design Air Heating and Cooling Email of the Day. What's up? Friday, yup, OnlyFans, free leaking, Drinkowitz, fired soon, Nut, just Dicky, masturbation daily, Facebook logged in, liking, I like, Iggy, posting, Marshy, sexy, KG, stock rising, Plowsy, hungry, Tim, the holy, me, horny, sniff it, lick it, stick it, get it, got it, flock it. P.S. Today's safe word is Trojan. That's from Flocky the Smurf. I would like to nominate myself for Checks Notes to see which sponsor that has been mentioned multiple times daily since the start of the new year has their name on the show's Listener Engagement Award. Milagro Tequila Listener of the Month. You might be saying, wait, you're a member of the show. You can't win a Listener Award. What? When you think about the fact that I spend a healthy portion of the show outside, sometimes smoking, sometimes just pretending I'm smoking, because as everyone knows, I quit and only smoke in between segments before I masturbate, while I masturbate, and after I masturbate. And when I saute the fish I pulled from the koi pond outside of the Hubbard Studios, I really do listen to the show quite a bit. And when you think about the fact that I struggled to find the time to sign up for my 401k, but somehow found time during the 22 and a half hours per day that I'm not working to scrub the internet to find leaked naked pictures of a girl I found on Instagram with fewer flowers than KG's internet singer girlfriend, it feels like I have to be considered for the Checks Notes because I already forgot that pesky sponsor again, Milagro Tequila Listener of the Month. Need an erotic story to put my application on the top of the pile? Well, let me tell you the tale of the time I picked up some of the scraps that JoJo and Henry Garza didn't end up taking on the conversion van they were using as a tour bus when they came to the Pink Galleon off Butler Hill back in 2005. If you ain't had South St. Louis strange that Los Lonely Boys would even bang, have you even had sex? Be advised, if you don't choose me, there's a better than 50% chance that I'm going to take this lighter, light the frayed fabric at the bottom of my $3 Goodwill pants, and burn the 9x9 windowless Iraqi hostage cage to the ground. If young Pop Pop don't trust you, I'm going to shoot you. Blueberry Pop Pop. Blueberry Pop Pop.
That's a long one for him.
Yeah, Blueberry Pop Pop extended.
Harley Geeker has 150,000 followers. So.
Has 150,000? Does she really? I know my emails won't see the light of day, and that's fine. I realize I'm not clever, funny, or vile, but I wanted to at least KG and O-Town now how much...
English, MF, do you speak it?
This is definitely another bot.
I want to make sure I didn't do a disservice. I know my emails won't see the light of day, and that's fine, comma. I realize I'm not clever or funny or vile, but wanted to at least KG and O-Town now how much of a great contribution he is to the show. Maybe it meant to let KG and O-Town know how much. Maybe that's what it was. Guy worked his tail off to be part of a show that he's been a loyal listener for years now, and I tip my cap. That work ethic that guy has is one that should be emulated by everyone. Keep it up, KG. Happy for you to be part of an idiot show. Much deserved. Also, Iggy, you the man. Constant content machine, and TMA is only as great as it is due to you being on the show. Thanks, Tim, for keeping TMA afloat all these years behind the scenes. Plowsy, it wasn't TMA without you on the show. And now that you're back, made me realize how much of an impact you have. Wow. So glad to have you back, buddy. Marshy Marsh, thanks for playing in the Reindeer games. Please come back anytime. Thanks for the show, boys, and for making me laugh out loud as my workmates look at me in a very weird way. God, I love this moronic show. Love TMA Walrus #1. That was just like a pleasant email. I was waiting for the shot.
It's a suck-up email, but it's a good one.
Yeah, looking to sneak into that final three.
You think that's what that is?
We haven't heard from the #1 Walrus in a while.
Ours is the type of presentation where the producers feel they can slide into the DMs of celebrities who faded the show at any time and send multiple DMs fishing for an explanation as to why they chose not to join the HD2 presentation in a windowless closet next to the bathroom. Yesterday, I had a busy day. Posting gay photos of my openly straight friend on his Facebook page.
Crushed.
Then I spent the rest of the afternoon scouring the dark web for leaked nude photos of Harley Geek Girl and Foreman Britt. I will take care of business when it's still light out. I never pleasure myself in the middle of the night because that would be weird. Once I was finished, I focused on finding a date to see my goth rocker man crush in Chicago and figured I'd start by DMing the adult actress I always finish with. She hasn't replied to my last 20 DMs, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Agree.
I conveniently left out the part about how we'd be traveling by rail and didn't have any accommodations above the hobo line and how it's a 40-minute walk from the Amtrak station to the venue, but if she actually wants to go, maybe I'll splurge on a bus pass. If that falls through, I guess I'll take my bang friend Tina, who tagged along with me to Samantha Fish last year, or perhaps one of the other unhappily married women who go on dates with me will agree to drive the 600-mile round trip. That comes from Buck Swope.
Well, let me tell you something, Swope. I do have accommodations if I spend the night. A kind listener reached out. He is a member of the Union League Club in Chicago, which is similar to the MAC. They have 180 guest rooms, and he has caught me 2 rooms.
Wow, things are happening. Things are happening.
I didn't reach out to anybody. He reached out to me. So
hope the action's back on you.
I have 2 rooms at the Union League in Chicago.
Tough start, but boy, did you boys rebound. Hell, I actually think it's Piven's loss for not wanting to do the thing all comedians love doing where they get up at 3 a.m. to push last-minute ticket sales on a handful of zany morning shows where half the cast is on vacation.
Yeah, it is, actually.
Plus, according to a recent Barrett Media podcast newsletter, you're just one of about 10 million other localized, hard-to-find podcasts broadcasting live from a cardboard box that's been shoved into a dark and damp corner of the internet who are scrambling to figure out how to fill time when sought-after celebs like Jeremy Piven and Hal Sparks. Hal Sparks.
Who?
Remember Hal Sparks?
Who's he?
Hal Sparks canceled.
Who was he?
He hosted Talk Soup after John Henson left?
I wasn't part of that show.
Well, yeah.
So I don't know. It's not my problem.
It's a national show. I knew you weren't a part of it. I mean, Greg Kinnear hosted.
Oh, I figured it was somebody trashing me for not getting that guy either.
As so often the case in the world of HD2 podcasting, it isn't worth looking for a last-minute fill-in because anyone you could potentially get at this hour of the morning is either busy arguing on the fan page or hosting their very own passion project podcast that nobody listens to. So you follow corporate protocol by filling time fragmenting your audience, breaking down the golf handicaps of the same 3 listeners nobody knows about. And then you let a grandpa Wheezy Beak rehash all the sex he let a woman have with him after an erotic night of playing skee-ball at Swing Around Funtown 5 years ago. Barrett spoke with longtime HD2 producer Boom Boom Wilson out of Hartford last week, who said he's been trying to book his brother-in-law, who occasionally watches. Dr. Katz, professional therapist, and could probably fill some talking about that, but he recently canceled again because he had to guest host his other buddy's podcast. So instead, he just talked about having sex with himself after a pony of a happy hour back at Applebee's in 2016. I guess what I'm saying is take solace in the fact that you're just one of the 250 million other podcasts nationwide who can't secure a guest with whom to engage in 30 minutes of fake laughing through unpolished bits about how the comedian is never able to find his keys when he's in a hurry. Thanks. That's from Dragon Slayer. And that's what we have for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. What you got? Iggy, what do we have?
Look, I didn't take a lot of credit for the interview getting booked, and I'm not going to take any blame for him not showing up.
And I tried to get Ella Reese.
Yeah.
What happened there? Not just absolutely nothing, radio silence, KG?
Yep, just ghosting. She's scared.
Yeah, I mean, I usually...
We try harder than any other show.
Yeah, look, what do you want me to do? Call American Airlines and say, why'd you cancel that flight, you bunch of bastards? Put him on there. I don't know why he canceled the show, but he was. Even if he didn't cancel the show, he wasn't going to be here. Very rarely do we get nice emails.
Oh, my God. You're going to TMA Walrus
And
number one?
according to TMA Walrus, he does write those things, but Jackson doesn't put them in.
Oh, is that right?
And KG did. So I'm going to vote for the number one Walrus.
Marshy Marsh, Playful Posse.
I think I go with the first one, the Smurf.
Oh,
It's
Flappy
very-
the Smurf.
Yeah, very concise, to the point. There was one that was really funny. I forgot who was typing it out, but it sort of, towards the end of it, trailed off a little bit. Kind of lost me.
I think this is going to go to Plowsy because I think I know who Tim's voting.
I'm going Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer was funny.
I'm going Dragon Slayer, so Plowhawk's the Speaker of the House. What are you going with?
Oh, we'll give Walrus a shot, man.
TMA Walrus number one
Nice
gets a
one. We don't
win.
get nice ones.
There it is, TMA Walrus. You've got yourself a Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Victory, Marshy Marsh and the Playful Posse. Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy.
For filling
Thanks for
in.
having me, boys.
It is always a pleasure. I'm going to go down the hallway and reunite with Matt Rocchio. I'll get my ass ripped for an hour, and then BK and Ferrario will take over, and then you'll be back at 2
I'll
o'clock.
be back, yeah.
With Jamie Rivers and Anthony Stalter. Boys, I will see you on Monday.
Have a
and
good
we are
weekend.
only 9 days away, Iggy, from the J. Randolph Jr. fan page.
That's why I'm
Club
going to get some work in
Championship.
today.
There you go. Go get that work in. For the Plowhawk, for KG and O-Town, for Marshy Marsh filling in, for Douglas Elvin Vaughn and Jackson Burkett, for Kenneth Iggy Strode, for my brother Kevin. I'm Tim McKernan. This has been the Ryan Kelly Morning After from our Michelob Ultra Studios.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan. I'm here with a great sponsor on